Hello, everybody, and welcome into Big Boy Arena in Fraser, Michigan for the final game of 16 between the Port Huron Prowlers and the Motor City Rockers. I'm Brady Beaton, joined by Ben Zalagi. Ben, it's good to be back, and man, the Rockers might be the hottest team in the Fed right now.
Well, the standings will tell you they're the hottest team in the Fed. They've won 5 straight after taking an overtime win last night at McMorran. You and I were both there, obviously in different respects. It was a fun game, though, last night. But, yeah, as of right now, you got to actually wonder if maybe Motor City is peaking a little too early before the playoffs, because they did exactly what you wanted them to do, Brady.
Yes, they did.
They took 2 out of 3, I should say, against
Carolina.
That is nice.
They got, then they swept Binghamton. They took 2 or 3 against Columbus in a huge series. They have been playing, again, about as well as you could have asked for. And last night, they blow the 3-1 lead, but immediately win it in overtime about a minute in.
Yeah.
The Rockers are playing like it's playoff hockey. Now, the standings, while not officially locked in, for all intents and purposes, they're likely going to end up the way they are. Right now, Motor City, 8 points ahead of Port Huron with 3 points tonight. It does not lock them into at least a 3 seed, but it basically does. They'd be 11 points up with 12 possible points left for the Port Huron Prowlers. Carolina, right now at 104 compared to Motor City's 88. That's 16 points behind. Carolina has a game in hand again. Technically possible. Rockers would need a lot of luck, but right now, the way they're playing, I don't think they should be scared of anybody.
Oh, yeah, well, especially after taking 2 out of 3 against both Columbus and Carolina. One of those series was in Carolina, and, finally got to beat Brendan Colgan here at home. So, yeah, you're not afraid of anyone. If anything, people are maybe looking at Motor City a little bit differently. We know at the turn of the calendar year, the team started to get a little finicky. We took about a 3-week break, but everything's right as rain. They're playing just as hot as they were in November and December.
Well, they made a few roster moves, got a couple guys going, and right now they're gelling, and it shows nowhere better than with number 88, Scott Koash. 35 goals, 28 assists for the season, but in the last 2 months, since the calendar's turned to February, he has been unbelievable. 13 points in his last 5, including a 6-point performance last weekend, and in his last 19 games, so basically a third of the season, he has 35 points since February has started. He has been the guy that stepped up, and a team that's been very balanced, he's become the go-to superstar, and again, last night, the game winner.
Yeah, he's been the guy that's been carrying this team. He also has 3 shorthanded goals in that span as well. He's been playing really good hockey, and we've talked about it on these broadcasts in these games where, who's that guy that you can look to, right, that we always ask? Who's that guy that's going to step up when you need him to? The past 2 games against Binghamton and then last night, it was Scott Koash who was able to get the team stealing wins, basically, because last night could have gone either way. You were able to steal a win. He's been that guy. 88 has been the guy that's been carrying this whole team. He's been really good. I feel bad for Declan Conway. Still playing well. Still second in the team in points. But he's working really, really hard, and sometimes it seems like he's in quicksand because he desperately wants a goal instead of an assist, but he's still producing. He's still helping out. Just kind of feel bad for Declan in that regard.
Well, this final meeting between these 2 I-94 rivals should be interesting. There's a few words exchanged during warm-ups. Why not have the last dance be just a little more interesting? And right now, still a few more words going back and forth over the red line.
Yeah, that's McLean and Lambden. They were going at it last night. They might go at it again tonight. And we know last night, and he's been playing well as well. Probably is going to be in net. Blake Scott playing well. We know Trevor Babin's going to be out for 2 weeks. He has concussion-like symptoms after getting run into last Saturday when Binghamton took him out, essentially. But Blake Scott's been playing well. It's going to be interesting to see how he's going to rebound from last night in that 3rd period.
Final matchup of the season between the Port Huron Prowlers and your Motor City Rockers here on Autism Awareness Night at Big Boy Arena. We'll step aside for the starting lineups and the national anthem. You're watching Motor City Rockers hockey on the Rockers YouTube page. played starting lineups announced. The starting lineup brought to you by Rock City Logistics. For a quote on all your global shipping needs, including LTL, rail, flatbed, and more, please visit rockcitylogistics.com. Ben, the starting five for both sides.
Yeah, starting with the visiting team, Port Huron. In net, number 39, Brian Talyu from Davison, Michigan. He'll be in net. In front of him will be number 84, Dustin Henning from Steamboat Springs, Colorado, and Brian Parsons from Shrewsbury, Massachusetts. And then the front line will be number 19, Austin Federley from Port Huron, Michigan, number 92, Dalton Jay from Hamilton, Ontario, and Evan Foley, after last night, is going to give it a go. He's starting. He's coming out of Belleville, Ontario. For the Rockers, in net again will be Blake Scott. Trevor Babin will be back in 2 weeks, dealing with mild concussion symptoms. His back line will be Josh Colton and Dante Suffredini. And the front line needs no introduction. Number 17, Connor Inger from Macomb, Michigan. Number 44, Declan Conway from Plainsville, Ohio. And number 88, Scott Koash from Plainfield, Illinois.
This series has been about as even as it can be all year long. 8-7 in favor of the Motor City Rockers, looking to take the long season series here tonight. Again, a win, while mathematically not clinching at least the 3 seed for Motor City, puts them up 11 points with 12 possible left for the Prowlers. That should be a fun one.
Oh, yeah.
Jay's been solid. He's their leading scorer. Motor City Rockers done a good job slowing him down.
They've done a really good job slowing Dalton down. He's a guy that's had to get involved in other ways. He's a guy who's had to get involved on the assist tally, but he's yet to score a lot of goals in the last 4 or 5 games between these two teams.
Port Huron controls possession as we get started. Conway cuts off Jay, slips back to the blue line. Parsons horseshoes it in deep. Henning chases after it. The veteran sends to Jay, taken away. Suffredini turns around. 2 white jerseys around him, and he goes down, and we'll have a penalty just 26 seconds into the game. Motor City going on the man advantage.
It's going to be big. Last night, man advantage was big for both teams, each getting power play goals. Port Huron was 2 for 4 on the power play last night. Motor City cashed in with their first as well.
Power plays all season are brought to you by Digital Macomb Indoor Billboards. Reach over 100,000 people in 1 month all around Macomb County by visiting digitalmacomb.com. Evan Foley to the box for 2 minutes. The Rockers with a chance to take the early lead. 5-on-4, clean win. Back to Suffredini, slides it to the hash marks. Top of the circle, returns to Suffredini, throws on net, and Talyu brings it in. Saw that one right into the glove, just 7 seconds into the man advantage.
Yeah, Talyu's a newer goaltender. Port Huron has had kind of a little bit of bad luck with their goaltenders. They traded Danique Rodrigue. Of course, Wyatt Hoffland's not completely healthy. They brought back Ian Wallace, but Talyu only playing in his 4th game.
Penalty to Foley was 2 for cross-checking. In close! Talyu able to send it aside. Suffredini gets his stick on the puck, but not before it returns to neutral ice. D-to-D pass ends up on Suffredini's stick, flips up to Koash, the leading scorer for Motor City. Surveys the scene, gives back to Conway, return to Koash in the left hash marks. Takes his time. Very patient from Koash, 30 seconds into the man advantage for Motor City. Koash throws on net, tipped in! Conway with the hand-eye coordination, 1-0 Motor City.
Conway's been looking for that goal that way for about 2 or 3 games now. He wants to deflect pucks in front, was trying to do that a lot last night. Tonight he found Pater, number 44, making it 1-0.
Almost looked like, Ben, baseball season started like he bunted it into the net. He could not have got that any cleaner. That was a thing of beauty. Conway with his 22nd of the season. Koash, assist number 29. Power play, reigning supreme early for Motor City. Minute 15 into the game. Prowlers already down a goal. Talyu to the far boards. Graham chases after it, pokes at it. Picked up by Aubin to the right side. Davini's shot goes wide, can't even catch the pad of Scott. Ryder slides over the red line onto the stick of Gaudette. He's got to move the shot. denied. 5-hole with the stick of Brian Taliu.
Good look there. Just knew he was going to go 5-hole, protected it with his stick.
Auburn offsides. The puck will come to the neutral zone. Ben, it seems like a lot of these games at home, Motor City, they always seem to come out hot. They score again early, basically picked up where they left off, scoring the overtime winner. It was about a minute 15 into overtime when they netted the game winner.
Yeah, and it was weird. Last night, it took about a period and a half for Port Huron to kind of get right, and even though there was 2 goals for Motor City in the second, they dominated the third with their play. They just got deflated in overtime. But yeah, Motor City likes to get out to fast starts here at Big Boy Arena.
Prowlers in neutral ice. McLean shovels it in deep, chasing after it. Only one white jersey. There's about 3 black and purples. Wynn gets pinned to the boards. Puck slides to Makema. Parsons stepped in front of it, sends a shot that's deflected wide of the net. Wynn picks it up. Rotundi watches it go by. Lambden keeps it on his skate. Forechecking pressure from, I believe that was Stoya, throws it on net. Covered up by Scott. 17:27 to go in the first period. Rockers already up a goal. Man, I just want to go back to that power play goal. The shot, or I should say almost the pass from Koash, and the way Conway was able to get the blade of his stick, he caught that thing flush and put it right in. That's a pretty tough goal to get, and to catch it as flush as they did, there wasn't any pressure on him. He saw it in. That takes elite hand-eye coordination.
It really does, especially because, yeah, his stick was about waist high. Didn't want to get it too high, obviously, because he wanted to get something on it. But, yeah, that's hard to even get that stick control up here. Make sure you can deflect it and kind of guide it into the net as well. Good hand-eye coordination, better stick control, though, by Declan Conway.
Foley had it for the Prowlers, lost it. Into neutral ice. Schumacher gets his skate on it. He takes the tumble. Prowlers fans in attendance wanted the right arm to go up. It did not. Koash has it broken up. Heinzel is able to get in front of it. Sufferdini backhands it, stepping in front of it. Evan Foley. Feed up to Jay, the righty. Top of the circle across to Johnson, and the defenseman shoots it wide. On the rebound, Dalton Jay could not get it in. And Blake Scott stands tall.
Wow. That's all I got to say is wow. Blake Scott looked out of position, somehow grew eyes on the back of his head, and Balake makes a big save.
And Johnson missed it hard enough off the backboard. It went right to Jay. And it wasn't clean, but Scott able to get just enough of it to keep it 1-0 Motor City. 16:34 to go, opening period. 1-0 on the Declan Conway power play goal. Draw in the Rockers zone. Graham will replace Aubin. Koash gets the clean win. In neutral ice, Koash into the offensive zone, throws on net, hits off the stick, loose in front. Conway batting at it wide of the net. Inger couldn't grab it, and Matt Graham collects it and is working it to safety for Port Huron. Sufferdini, the diagonal dump. Rockers will go off for a change. Johnson banks off the boards. Graham takes his time, lets the puck come to him. Foley being pressured by Gaudette, gets the takeaway. Gaudette throws up the right pad of Taliu. No second chance effort. Port Huron takes it into the neutral zone. Minnie pushes on Ryder. And a lot of physicality between these teams. You play each other 16 times. You kind of get sick of seeing each other's faces.
Yeah, I just wanted to double check the replay while play was going on. There was a slew foot that was missed near center ice that Schumacher took, but then someone took out the legs of Blake Scott right after that face-off. So play's going to get definitely very, very chippy as this game goes on. We're not even 5 minutes in.
15:23 left in the opening period. 1-0 Motor City on top. Rockers in their own zone. Parsons, the defenseman in his own zone, banks it up to McLean at his own blue line. Evades Perks, poked away at the Rockers blue line. Lambden on the near boards, sends in deep. Taliu stops it with the stick. Henning collects it, the veteran, trying to avoid Lambden. Leaves for Parsons. Waits for the breakout. On the far side, Federley had the night off last night, back in the lineup tonight. Parsons in his own zone up to Federley. He'll chip it in deep. We'll get a couple new Prowlers on the ice. Battle in the boards, chip behind the net. Rotundi, Federley pinned across the boards to the far side, flipped into neutral ice, picked up by Braden Aubin. Long pass, misses everything. Easy icing, it'll come all the way down to the Prowlers' end, but not before our first media timeout. 14:26 to go in the first period, 1-0. Motor City leading Port Huron. Let's take a look at shots on goal and if there's anything else going on around the league. Ben?
Yeah, shots on goal favor Motor City 7-2 so far early here in the first period. There's only one other game going on right now. It's Mississippi and Carolina. Keeping an eye on that one because last night Mississippi had a 2-1 lead against the Thunderbirds, and then the Thunderbirds woke up from their nest and got 2 unanswered goals to win that one 3-2.
Mississippi's been playing better as of late. They have the top 2 scorers that have really been carrying them. They've been playing with the best of the best. It's just their horrific start has sunk them.
Yeah, they took them a while to get kind of gelled together, get all under one philosophy. You and I talked about it early in October and November. When were the Rockers going to do that? And Mississippi has done that. They've been playing well as the season is closing on, and Motor City, of course, as we know, has been playing well all year, basically. But, yeah, it took them a while for that first year, getting their legs underneath them, understanding what they want to do as an organization from a coaching staff and, player personnel and everything like that. But Mississippi playing very, very well. And there's actually a guy that's on the waiver wire, granted he's not 100% healthy, that could help a team come playoff time in 2 weeks.
Mississippi will be the opponent. The Rockers see their final 4 games of the regular season.
Yep.
Next 2 down in Biloxi before the final weekend of the regular season back here at Big Boy Arena for the first, only, and last time that Mississippi comes to town. 14:26 to go in the first period. Motor City with the early goal from Declan Conway gives them the 1-0 advantage. Out of the timeout, Coash will draw against Aubin to the left of Brian Talue. Netminder for Port Huron. Aubin with the clean win. Heinzel picks it up to the boards. Federley knocked off the puck only for a moment. Rotundi keeps it in with the backhand. Federley steps in front of it as Rotundi slaps it out of midair. Heinzel plays it, no high stick. Schumacher lost it. Conway throws wide of the net. Behind his own net, Schumacher to the far side. Banked off the boards. Rotundi picks it up. Motor City putting a lot of pressure on Port Huron. They're having trouble getting it out of their own zone. As I say that, a shot gloved by Scott. Dan Chartrand had a look. Slipped out to the right in front. Scott gloves it, keeps it 1-0.
Yeah, Scott just almost slid out of position, was able to make a nice clean save. But yeah, Motor City's been utilizing the forecheck in this series a lot, trying to dictate the pace of play, trying to shut down leak passes. But as you know, Port Huron likes it when Motor City does that because they like to cheat out sometimes. And we saw last night literally a Hail Mary pass that tied the game up late in the third. So you are vulnerable to it. Just got to make sure the forecheck doesn't put you in bad situations tonight.
6.5 minutes in, out in front in the pad of Scott. Keeps it out of the net, off the stick of Joe DeVinny. He's looking for goal number 30 on the season. He's number 2 in goals for the Prowlers.
Yeah, Devaney's a good guy. He's a good guy that can get points and pucks on net. But again, Blake Scott, I don't know what it is, but he's rounding into form at the right time. When you need a solid backup goaltender, Blake Scott has been absolutely incredible the last 3 weeks. He's been playing well. He's hard to beat.
Colton in his own zone, throws it to the far boards. Thompson chases after it. Slashed in deep. Perks picks it up, pinned to the boards. Squirts out.
Oof.
Big hit, and Thompson wanted to go, and we'll have a penalty upcoming. Linesman will get in the way.
Man, they goaded Thompson into that one. They goaded him hard. Thompson is upset because, to be quite honest, he's embarrassed. He thought he had McLean dead to rights along the boards. McLean stepped out of the way at the last second, and Thompson went face first. Still going to go in the box for charging, though. But either way, that's why he's upset.
He barely caught him.
Yep.
That'll send Motor City on the penalty kill. That's brought to you by Kustra Law. For all your legal needs around the Metro Detroit area, including getting out of the penalty box, visit KustraLaw.com. Then, as you pointed out, Port Huron strong on the power play a night ago as Schumacher backhands one into the chest of Scott.
Yeah,
this is where they've made their money really all year against Motor City.
They really have. They were 2 for 4 last night. They're third in the league on the power play. Motor City, of course, number 2. But the PK, both these teams are in the lower half of the league on the PK. It's going to be interesting to see if the Prowlers can utilize the power play tonight to get back into this one.
Just 10 seconds into the Elias Thompson charging minor. Prowlers trying to tie it up. Stoya feeds to the far side. Walking in, Schumacher behind the net. 2 black jerseys greet him. Schumacher keeps it in the corner, trying to send it out somewhere. Gives it to Foley behind the net. Foley taking his time back up top. Cross ice pass, hops over the stick of Stoya. He got the scoring started a night ago. Throws it in front. Schumacher tips it, but well wide of the net. 1:20 to go in the man advantage for Port Huron. 12:37 to go in the first period. 1-0 Rockers. Stoya back to the point. Johnson throws high and wide of the net. Foley able to pick up the rebound, chips to Stoya. Chasing after it, Stoya keeps it in despite the efforts of Brad Ryder.
Really like how Port Huron is screening in front with Schumacher. They bring Foley down in front for a deflection as well. Like the way they're setting up this power play. They're just not feeding it into the middle just yet.
Stoya gives it through the legs of Devaney, and a shot saved again by Scott. Johnson shot it maybe a bit wide, but still the glove of Blake Scott been strong early.
That was an amazing save by Blake Scott, and the best part is he was able to slide out, square the puck back up, because for whatever reason, Schumacher leaves the crease as Johnson's shooting, because, I mean, we know Alex has a hard shot. It's for safety reasons he moves out of the way, but he moves out of the way, and Blake Scott has him one-on-one, makes an easy save, and we have another face-off.
45 seconds left to go in the man advantage for Port Huron. Off the draw, long clear. Tall U will play it behind his own net. Port Huron trying to tie this game up early in the first. Dalton J races across the red line, now the blue. Top of the right wing circle, puts on the brakes, reverses to Federle. Has to kick the puck to himself. Far side, Aubin. Up to Federle. Shot doesn't make it through Lambden. Chipped up to neutral ice. Lambden will try to beat Federle. He cannot. 15 seconds until Elias Thompson comes out of the box, makes it 5-on-5. Jay over to Graham. Returns to Jay, tipped wide. 10 seconds left to go in the minor penalty.
Good recovery by Nick Miguel Diaz to break that one up.
And Miguel Diaz flips it in deep. He breaks it up. He sends it deep. We'll get a high stick call. With 11:18 to go in the first period, we're back to 5-on-5 hockey, and Motor City kills off the first penalty of the night.
Made it look pretty easy, too. And the funny thing is, a lot of people are going to tell you the scouting report on Blake Scott. You can usually beat him with outside shots. He likes to get in the butterfly a little bit too early sometimes, which does open the upper part. But on that shot from Johnson, again, I don't understand why Schumacher leaves, because that time Blake knew to wait and was able to gobble up a good, clean look. And that was the only clean look they really had the entire power play.
Well, the other thing with Blake Scott, it seems that the first 10 minutes are critical. If he's locked in early, we saw a few times this year he maybe gives up the not-so-great goal and unravels a bit. But when he starts off strong, it seems like Blake Scott is locked in. Koash shoots it off the pad of Talyu. When Scott gets in the zone, seems to get laser-focused. Yep. He can string some good games together. He's had a lot of success against Port Huron this year.
Yes, he has. He's been playing well all year. Like I said, the last 3 weekends in particular has been playing very, very well. Even down in Carolina, he had a shutout until he took the puck off the mask in the second period, which took him out of the game. And, of course, that game, as we all know, got very interesting. But, yeah, Blake's playing well, rounding into form at the right time. And could you imagine if Motor City had 2 hot goaltenders going into the playoffs? My goodness.
Especially short 3-game series, goaltenders will be probably the biggest factor in how long your season lasts.
Definitely.
10:36 and counting to go in the opening period. Motor City up 1-0 on the Declan Conway power play goal. Puck in deep. Talyu will play it behind his own net. Slides it to the far corner. Foley works up to Jay. Returning to Foley. It's poked away by Wynn. Foley into the corner. Federle chips it back behind the net. Jay chases after it. Keeping the puck in deep. Foley comes to aid his teammate. Federle behind the net. Slides up to Minnie out in front, and Scott has the wherewithal to cover it up. 10:06 to go in the first, still 1-0.
I have no idea how he got his left leg to block that shot, but Blake Scott, whenever he makes a big save like that, we like to call him Balake because he blocked shots. Did a good job there stopping that. One thing I'm also impressed with, though, Evan Foley, after taking that puck to the ankle last night, skating pretty well with seems like minimal pain.
Sometimes once you get going, you get the adrenaline, you stop thinking about the ankle.
Yeah.
You're so focused on the game that you almost forget your ankle hurts.
100%.
Colton, pass up to Cardinal, he's knocked down. The Rockers fans in attendance wanted another power play. They will not get it. Midway through the first period, Rockers up a goal. Aubin races into the offensive zone, top of the circle, shoots it off the glass. Way high and wide of the net. In the corner, sliding out, Gaudette fights for it. Up to Ryder, tries to slide to Cardinal, will not be able to. Icing the call will come down to the Rocker zone as we take our media timeout. 9:35 to go in the first period. 1-0 Motor City on top. Let's take a look at shots on goal and what else is going on around the Fed. Over to Ben.
Yeah, shots on goal starting to even up a little bit thanks to that power play for Port Huron. Motor City still leads the category 9-7. Of course, Motor City leads this game on a Declan Conway power play goal. And our friends in Carolina decided to play some hockey. They're up 2-0 against Mississippi early. They're jumping on those Seawolves and taming those pups.
Now,
not ideal.
Ben, obviously you'd love to have home ice advantage.
Yes.
Because if you're the lower seed, you cannot clinch the series. Game one's out at the lower seed, or I should say the higher seed, the 3 seed, and then games 2 and 3 would be at the 2 seed. But if you're Carolina, their last game of the year is in Columbus. They'd have to come back, go up here on a Friday, and come back to Carolina. So despite being the higher seed, Carolina would have more travel than the Rockers.
They would, and that's a very fair point. Their travel schedule is a little bit brutal to end the season, and you know it's something that does have to be taken into effect because these games are going to go by lightning fast, and you don't have time to say, oh, we have bus legs. We can survive a period. No, you can't survive a period. You have to take a period when it comes to the second season. So it's going to be interesting to see if everything starts to lock up the way we think it will, the way we've been talking about it the last month because it seems to be coming into fruition. It's going to be interesting to see what that series will be like.
Well, talking to Gordy Brown before the game, we were looking at the standings like, man, there were some games back in December, in January that you go, we should have won these games. And he's like, I could point out 4 or 5 games we feel we let slip through our fingers. We have 9, 12 more points. All of a sudden, we're at 100 points, and we're in the mix for home ice advantage.
I only laugh because he said those exact words to me on Wednesday. We usually have a weekly phone call, Gordy and I do, and you know, he said those exact things. And he looks at the Mississippi series in particular. He goes, that one irritates me a lot. Granted, you know, they were able to force an extra frame, but he goes, we should have won both those games. I'm really looking forward to next weekend to spoil their weekend. But he said, yeah, the exact same thing. We should be in a position fighting for first place in the league. But that's why, unfortunately, when the calendar turned, the worm turned on Motor City.
Gaudette backhand goes wide. Motor City playing well at the right time. 8:53 to go, first period, 1-0. Motor City on top. Ryder to the far side. On net, chipped wide. Supperdini got a stick on it, couldn't put it on net. Cardinal in deep, fighting with Foley. To the near side, Inger fires a missile that's gloved by Tolyu. We get a whistle. We get an offensive zone draw for Motor City.
Yeah, and it's funny, they're just done with their shift, but this second line produced a lot last night. They had 3 goals. You know, Ryder had 2, Cardinal had 1. They've been playing well. That line's been playing well down the stretch as well. Adding that depth that we've been talking about, right? Because we know the whole philosophy of this team is you can't take out a top line, you can't take out a second line because there's goal scorers everywhere. It's really coming into fruition, and that's why this team is playing hot.
Conway throws his stick at it, keeps it in the zone. Milam, the veteran, walks it in. Inger behind the net, slips out. Graham The player, coach, GM, the everything for Motor City sends it up to Devaney, and Graham was offside. We'll go back to neutral ice.
Well, Ingers, he's going to probably go to the bench. He's checking for blood. I want to check on the replay here, but he got hit behind the play and was slow to get up. So that might be a quick line change for Motor City that they were not anticipating.
Inger made his way to his bench under his own power. A night ago, you saw Scott Koash. He got cut on the nose.
There it was.
Pushing and shoving on the far side between Graham and Thompson.
Yeah, Foley was the one who got Connor Inger along the boards on a clean hit, but his face definitely hit the boards.
Thompson going at it in front of the net. No penalty being called. They are letting them go at it. On the offensive zone, Graham's pass knocked away. Thompson sitting at center ice. If Port Huron controls the offensive zone, pass didn't find a home. Perks couldn't pick it up. Graham far hash marks. Backhands out in front, and it's sticked away by Blake Scott.
Good poke check there, but can't believe hog tying is allowed in hockey. Who would have thought?
They are letting it play out right now. Cardinal behind the net, tries to slip through a defender, does. Right wing circle. On the far side, lost the handle on it. Henning pitchforks it to neutral ice. It'll slide over all three lines. Well, the Rockers pick it up in their own zone. Anytime number 8's been on the ice for Motor City, it's gotten a little chippier.
It has, but also it's kind of funny. Port Huron's not really testing him. They want to goad him into something, but anytime Elias is on the ice, they're not testing him as much as you think they would.
Well, I think they know what we know. They do well on the power play against Motor City.
Yes, 100%.
7:05 to go, first period, 1-0 Motor City. Thank you so much for spending your Saturday evening with us here at Big Boy Arena. Gaudette over the blue line, slides out in front, shoots, scores! Declan Conway didn't get all of it, didn't need all of it. He finds his second of the period, 2-0 Motor City.
Very happy for Declan. Like I said, he's been pressing for these goals. That one was a clean one. It was a sharp wrister, just got under the left wing of Talu, and it's a 2-0 game. Declan Conway, though, has been busting his butt the last month, trying to add more goals. That was a whole heck of an effort. Even better pass, though, by Roman Gaudette to make that happen.
Yeah, he looks like Talu got some of it. Heck, maybe he got most of it, but not enough. Conway now with goals number 22 and 23 here in the first period. Koash into the offensive zone, looking to take a 3-0 lead. Koash gets deflected away before he can put it on net. Jay can't receive the pass at neutral ice, sprints after it, right wing circle, shot, blockered away. Scott will sprawl out over top of it. In an offensive zone draw for Port Huron.
Got to give credit to Roman Gaudette on that feathering pass. I mean, that's a hard pass to do. You want to saucer it perfectly. He was able to lead Declan on that right through the slot as well. Good hand-eye coordination by Roman Gaudette.
Offensive zone draw goes to Mini for Port Huron. Shot bounces off the pad of Blake Scott. Vision was obstructed. Johnson throws it in the chest. Loose out in front. It goes behind the net. To safety for the moment. Federally for Port Huron. Lost it. Koash in his own zone, flips it to neutral ice. He'll go off.
Yep.
Icing will be called, and we'll see if they bring anyone back on for Port Huron. For Motor City.
I think they were able to get the line change before the puck switched over. So I don't think they're going to recall a lot of players. That puck just had some weird English to it as it approached the end line. It was going dead center on Talu and then veered off like it was going to hit a wall.
Looks like they let most of the line change stay. Another offensive zone draw for Port Huron, finding themselves in a spot they were a night ago, down 2 goals, this time just a bit earlier. Schumacher, shot deflected by Lambden. He's racing out, he's got a step. Feet just a bit too strong for Cade Lambden. Everyone in the rink saw it. It's a game of inches, and that was about 6 to 12 inches too far.
We know Lambden's not the biggest guy on the ice, but if he was an inch taller, he would have gotten to that puck.
I think Lambden's getting ready to go to the box. Penalty behind the play. Port Huron controls the puck. It's touched up. Port Huron going to the box. Port Huron going on the power play as Lambden goes to the box for a slashing.
Yep, they were battling, dusting up in front of Taliu, and Landon lost his head, and literally is his helmet still there. But yeah, they're going to get him for slashing. Don't know I agree with that, but you got to go with the letter of the law, and that's what the law says.
The old cliche, it's usually the one that retaliates that gets pegged with the penalty.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Brings us back on the penalty kill, brought to you by Kustralaw. For all your legal needs around the Metro Detroit area, including getting out of the penalty box, visit kustralaw.com. Port Huron failed to capitalize on the first man advantage. See what they do here the next 2 minutes. 5:30 to go, first period. 2-0 Motor City. Jay's shot doesn't make it through Milam. They'll be sent down into the Port Huron zone.
Yeah, good clear there by Brad Ryder. It's really interesting to see how the Prowlers are trying to still block Blake in front, but they're also having a hard time getting the clean looks they want to from the outside.
Half a minute already elapsed on the Lambden minor. Port Huron chasing two. Great chance to get one back before the first break. Graham near the point, pressure, turned over. Koash racing down the near side. Graham throws his stick at it, breaks it up enough to stop the scoring chance. Graham battling with Koash. Jay picks it up, works the breakout. 1:10 left to go in the power play for Port Huron. Aubin keeps it himself, sticked away by Scott. He takes a tumble into the boards. Devaney kept it in for a moment, but it's sent all the way down. Helter-skelter on this power play. Still 2-0 Motor City.
Had to double check which 85 was it. We know Vartiainen got put on IR this week, but Aubin looked like a little bit of a mini Larry Vartiainen there with that speed.
Vartiainen, definitely some firepower that Port Huron is missing. With some really strong hands. Port Huron trying to find a way to make up for his goal scoring ability. 34 seconds left to go on the penalty kill for Motor City. Stoya back to Johnson. Far side. Devaney up front to the point. Back to Johnson. Walks up. Pass down low. Hops over the stick of Foley in front. Schumacher barely got anything on it. Another clear. Taliu comes out to play it. 15 seconds for one last rush.
Port Huron's looking for that perfect shot that's not coming. They just need to start peppering the net on the power play. They refuse to do so.
5 seconds until we return to 5-on-5. Stoya throws it right into the belly of Blake Scott. And with 2 seconds left to go on the man advantage, it'll be an offensive zone draw for Port Huron. But we'll have our final media timeout of the first period. 3:36 to go in the first. 2-0 Motor City on top of Port Huron. Go over to Ben for shots on goal and what's going on around the Fed.
Well, shots on goal are dead even at 11 apiece between Port Huron and Motor City. We know Roman Gaudet assisted Declan Conway's second goal of the night. Got a little bit of a correction on the first goal. Connor Inger did not get the assist, the hockey assist, I should say. It's going to go to number 4, Josh Colton. So he's going to get the second assist on Declan Conway's goal, and it's still 2-0 Carolina over Mississippi down in Winston-Salem.
Ben, if you're a Rockers fan, you have to be really happy with what you've seen from the Motor City penalty kill through the first 2 attempts.
You really do, and again, you see clearly what Port Huron's trying to do. They have a man in front, and then they have a man to the far side post for deflection, and Motor City is not allowing themselves to be caught up in the screen. You normally see them just one-on-one. It's been Schumacher. It was also Merritt just right there as well. They're only putting that guy that's screening in front with one defender, allowing the diamond still to form, still to bend, but not break. And it's been absolutely a great philosophy on the penalty kill because it's kept away guys from the far side post. It's mucked up the middle so you can get easy clears. Motor City knows what they're doing on the PKs, especially after seeing last night what Port Huron can do and wants to do with their man advantage. They made the adjustments tonight, and it's coming through early, and it's really nice to see.
3:36 left to go in the opening stanza. Home team, Motor City, up 2-0. 2 seconds left to go on the Lambden slashing minor. Unless you get the quick shot, Motor City goes 2 for 2 on the penalty kills. Lambden comes out of the box, picks it up at center ice, touch pass. Now to the near side. Koash walks it in, makes the move on the backhand. Koash throws it off the chest of Taliu.
Had Lambden there crashing, could have centered for an easy goal.
Conway forces the turnover. Sends in deep, no one chasing after. Hennig picks it up unpressured as it's flipped to neutral ice. Graham waiting for it. Colton slashes at it at the blue line, never crossed. Inger for Motor City throws it to the near side. Henning in neutral ice, battling in front of the Rockers bench. Flipped all the way to the Port Huron zone. Devaney to the far side to Parsons. Looking for someone to send it to, puts it on the stick of Aubin. Top of the left wing circle, hits the post and goes into the netting. Just caught the crossbar, the quick shot. I don't think Scott really saw it. Hits the goalie's best friend and it stays 2-0.
Yeah, and last night, that's another thing to call out. Port Huron had 3 or 4 posts in the game last night as well. It calls out to the angles that Scott is taking. He's able to still square up, making the aim small, miss small philosophy come to fruition, but he's also playing a risky game. But yeah, as you said, the post is a goaltender's friend sometime. It is an extra defender when you need him.
Just over 2.5 to play. Ryder, right wing circle shot, doesn't make it to Tallyu. Rush the other way for Port Huron. Aubin along the near side. Centering feed goes to the wrong color jersey. Gaudette up to Ryder, returns to Gaudette. Diagonal feed over the blue line. Chipped up in close, it's loose. Backhanded Ryder, just couldn't get it. Oh, he had half the net open, and he just tried to poke it, couldn't find the right angle.
Ran out of space at the wrong time. He knows it as he goes to the bench. Just tried to push it, was a hair late, and it was just a wide miss.
2 minutes to go, opening period. Rockers dominating on the scoreboard, 2-0. Perks, feed gets knocked away, intended for Makema. On the other end, Chartrand, diagonal dump, Foley chases after. Rockers pick it up. Wynn walks it out of his own zone. Over all 3 lines into the offensive side. Wynn keeps it in deep as he spins off a hit.
Man, he made 2 guys miss on that one.
Perks across up front. Makema slap shot, and it gets deflected to the far corner. 90 seconds to go, opening period, 2-0 Motor City. Perks at his own blue line, taking his time. Trying to put a bow on what was a very strong starting period. Inger off the far boards, walks into the zone, shot is deflected. Heinzel goes on the ice, puts his body in harm's way and stops the shot attempt.
Yeah, good play there by Heinzel. That was the only thing he could do. Stopped it with his backside and made something out of it.
Koash to Conway. He has both goals early. Lost it. Jay at his own blue line, up to Graham. The coach walks it into the zone. Triangulated by Rockers and it's poked away. Graham, near side, sends to the middle. It's knocked away by Colton. Back to neutral ice, 35 seconds left to go till we take our first break. Colton picks it up in his own end. Looking for the breakout. Cardinal gets the pass off the boards. Cardinal on the backhand throws it low and slow, sticked away by Tallyu. A perfect pass, just too much defense from Port Huron.
Man, that's a laser beam.
10 seconds to go in the first. One last rush from Port Huron. Devaney gets it taken away to be backhanded into the Prowlers zone, and that'll do it for the first 20. Motor City starts where they left off, ahead of Port Huron. 2 Declan Conway goals give the Rockers the advantage after the first frame.
Yeah, it was really nice to see Motor City able to get out to a 2-goal lead. Last night after 1, it was tied at 1 thanks to a power play goal by Port Huron last night. But yeah, tonight, I really like what the penalty kill's doing. They're keeping the pucks to the outside. They're keeping the middle clean. The diamond is working very, very well. Of course, Blake Scott being very well in between the pipes and the 4x6, seeing everything. And anything that comes near that blue paint, Blake Scott's going to gobble it up like he missed breakfast. He is hungry for that puck. He wants to hold on to it. He wants to make sure he controls anything that comes within a 6-foot radius of that net. Doing a great job. He's a great backup. Just, again, keeping the style of play he's been doing the past couple of weeks. Just doing it again here in the first period. Intermission stats are brought to you by Triumph Geared Solutions. Machinist jobs are available right here in Metro Detroit. Visit careers.triumphgroup.com to learn more. Ben, recap the scoring in the first period, and we will take a look at what else is going on around the Fed. Yeah, well, the first period was Motor City leading the shots on goal 15-12, as Port Huron was previously outshot 7-2 at the early of the period, but they were allowing the power plays, getting, again, more shots on net, but again, no harm, no foul. Declan Conway has both goals tonight, one on the power play, one on the even strength, as Motor City has a 2-0 lead. It's still 2-0 Carolina over Mississippi. Gus Ford getting a goal early in that one, and Peter Panicek getting one 4 minutes later to make it 2-0 in Winston-Salem. So
after 20 minutes, Motor City has the 2-0 advantage over Port Huron. We will step aside. We will take a break. When we come back, we hope the Rockers pick up where they left off. We're watching Motor City Rockers hockey on the Rockers YouTube page. Back here at Big Boy Arena, 20 minutes down, 40 minutes to go. 2-0 Motor City on top. Brady Bean alongside Ben Zalagi. Ben, pretty solid first period. Not a whole lot to complain about if you're a fan of the black and purple.
No, not a lot to complain about at all. The penalty kill looks great. Offense looks spectacular, to be honest. They're getting the shots they want. I'm just watching the guys come on the ice. I want to make sure nothing happens. But, they're getting the looks they want. The middle of the slot has been wide open, which is really surprising. But Motor City's playing well. They're utilizing that forecheck very strongly, but they're bailing at the right time, so they're not getting burned by it either. There has been a couple of plays at center ice that the Prowlers have been able to take advantage of, but everyone's bailing at the right time, and there's not really been any odd man rushes, even though they've been close. Port Huron is a little struggling. It's going to be interesting to see what happens in the second period, maybe add a goal or two, extend that lead, because it's going to get I have a feeling it's going to get very, very chippy here in the second.
Yeah, it was definitely a bit frisky in the first. No one dropped the gloves yet, but I don't think temperatures will cool down as the game goes on, only heat up a bit.
Yeah, and Elias Thompson says he wants 55 or 27. He's already told, when he was in the box, he told Ken, as we know Ken runs the scorers table down there, he told Ken, I want 55 or 27. So that's Schumacher and that's Stoya. So got to keep those guys on. And, of course, Troy McLean is a guy who's been feisty all weekend, too. So there's three candidates that Big Sexy can take advantage of. So
Rockers up by 2 as the middle 20 underway. Rockers moving left to right. Here at Big Boy Arena, they control the draw. Chip to the right side. Koash puts on the brakes, horseshoes it around. Henning steps in front of it for Port Huron. Inger spins around, didn't have the puck. Parsons picks it up for the Prowlers, gets it into neutral ice. Aubin, pass, sticks to Jay, shot high and wide. Hit right off the glass. Tie up in the neutral zone, gives Henning the puck. He'll walk it in himself. The captain for Port Huron turns around, looks for someone to send it to, misses everyone, bounces off the far boards, now working the other way. Conway over the blue line, backhand, knocked away. Inger picks it up along the far half wall. Into the corner, shot, and it's knocked away by Tallyu. Rockers keep possession. Cardinal, and it's blocked again by Tallyu. A good start to the second period for the netminder in white, Brian Tallyu.
Yeah, Tallyu needs a little confidence building. Again, it's only his fourth game here in the Fed. It's a newer signing for Port Huron. He's a guy who's capable. He just needs to build confidence that I don't necessarily think is there yet.
Graham was looking for Federley out in front, knocked away. Minnie tries a blast. It's a ground ball right of the net. And a goal for Port Huron, just throwing it out in front. I think it hit the inside of the far pad of Scott, finds its way in the back of the net. And Port Huron gets a quick one back, 2-1, 18:39 to go in the second.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened on the wraparound. It's just right in front, and the post on the near side was not covered as quickly as you would expect it to be, and literally bounced off the crook of the pad and inside of the net.
Port Huron was trying that in the first period just to cause chaos out in front. And the first time Scott gets beat, not a whole lot he could have done. Don't think he really knew where the puck was. Port Huron gets a big goal back.
Yeah, it's a nice goal by Evan Foley.
Rockers with the puck. Milam shot sticked away, loose out in front. chopping at it. Perks gives it to the right side. Milam trying to keep it inside the blue line, does only for a moment. Perks comes to help out his teammate, but Johnson will not be denied. Takes it to neutral ice. Feeds to Foley on the right side. Returns to Johnson. Shot knocked away by Lambden. Perks, 2-on-2 into the zone. Pass way too strong for Makema. A hit off the corner. Tallyu will play it. Foley up the far side. Doesn't have enough steam to catch up to it. Rockers control it.
Well, again, got to see how he pushes off with his bad leg, and he's going to coast on a lot of times when he can go to a puck, and maybe that ankle is just starting to feel a little more tender.
Well, he had 18 minutes in between periods to think about the ankle a little more. Adrenaline wears down a bit. Might take him a shift or two to build it back up.
Definitely. Also, he's been playing on it for 20 minutes, so it's going to be a little tender as well.
Neutral zone draw. Farboard, 17:29 to go in the second period. The Evan Foley goal cut the Prowlers' deficit in half. Final game of the I-94 rivalry. Been about as dead even as you can be. 8-7 in favor of Motor City. Two Michigan-based Fed teams very familiar with each other at this point.
Yeah, definitely don't want another game, though, to go into overtime, right? This is 3 points you need to have. You can't walk away with 2. You need to walk away with 3, help solidify being third as playoffs are going to be here in 2 weeks.
And if the Rockers take 3 points with a regulation win, it would put them 11 points up on Port Huron with 12 possible points for the Prowlers left. 16:42 in the middle frame. 2-1 Motor City. Puck in neutral ice, slides back to Suffredini. He'll walk it over all 3 lines. The D-man takes it deep in the zone, bottom of the right wing circle, backhand pass, knocked away. Chasing after it, Braden Aubin.
Yeah, also Heinzel doing a good job separating. He's been playing strong here early.
Colton pokes the puck away, chases after it in the near corner. Behind the net, Aubin searching back to the point. Shot doesn't get by Gaudette's stick. Bounces behind Blake Scott in the Rockers' net. Been a quieter start to the second period. More up and down action. We've got a little bit of flow here in the second.
Definitely a little more back and forth. See what happens here with the 2-on-2.
Gaudette's shot altered as it goes high over the crossbar. A glove went flying. That's Matt Graham's. He's going to try and chase after it. He's playing with 1 mitt.
And he's a guy who's not missed any games this year.
Like we've said, the GM, the coach, player, does a bit of everything for the Prowlers.
Man of many hats, Matt Graham.
Yes.
Goal scorer, teammate, instigator, GM, head coach.
Graham, 16 goals, 36 assists on the season. Perks takes it into the zone in the corner. Fighting for it. Along the boards, 2 black, 2 white jerseys. It squirts out to neutral ice Milam on the red line. On the far side, centers to Perks. 5 minutes into the middle frame. Port Huron got one back on the Foley goal. Perks steps in front of the pass, forces a takeaway. He goes down to the ice, and Port Huron on the rush. Milam to the far side. Pass didn't have a home mini. Holds it at neutral ice. Federley on the backhand. Feeds to Foley, working to the near circle. Leaves back Johnson right into the chest of Scott. It'll go up into the netting, and we'll get a much-needed whistle. 14:31 to go in the second period. 2-1, Motor City leading Port Huron. Take a look at shots on goal. What's going on around the Fed? Over to Ben for that.
Well, I think after that last shot, it's now going to be 3-2 in favor of Motor City here in the second period, and they overall lead 18-14 in the category. Want to let you know, Gino Mini, Austin Federley assisted on Evan Foley's little sneaky goal to make it 2-1. Going around the Fed, Danbury has a 2-0 lead. Carolina still has their 2-0 lead over Mississippi. Puck just dropped in Binghamton between Columbus and Binghamton. Binghamton had a big win last night. Columbus playing well as anybody, and still about 23 minutes away between Delaware and Watertown before they drop the puck in New York.
Iconic Goaltending has clinics here in Metro Detroit for young goaltenders looking to improve their game. Information on private lessons, team skates, and performance analysis can be found at iconicgoaltending.com. 14:31 to go in the second period here at Big Boy Arena. Motor City leading Port Huron 2-1. Brady Beaton alongside Ben Zalagi as we are in the final stretch of the regular season. Just 5 games left total, including this one. Only one opponent left for Motor City, 2 at Mississippi next week. Mississippi will be here in 2 weeks' time. Final game against Port Huron. And the Prowlers got one back early in that period.
It's got to be brutal traveling around the holidays, next weekend, of course, being Easter, having a game on Good Friday and then Saturday, and then coming back, maybe spending time if you celebrate Easter with your family. That's a packed schedule. And, of course, tax day. If you haven't done your taxes yet, got to get those done and mailed in before you start the playoffs. A lot going on to wrap up the season.
A lot going on here at Big Boy Arena. Rockers got the first 2. Declan Conway scored them both before Evan Foley had an answer for Port Huron. Milan behind his own net to Conway. Rink-wide pass, hits the stick, stays there, leaves back for Koash. Puts on the brakes, he's bumped off the puck by Minnie. Knocked to the ice, keeps it in the zone, up to Inger. Far hash marks, centers to Koash, knocked away. On the near side, Stoya. Takes his time, tries to dangle around a few defenders, unable to do so. Puck's flipped in deep, icing waved off. Minnie grabs it for Port Huron. Minnie, pressured in his own zone. Gaudette comes over to assist. Puck squirts into the Rockers zone. Long feed, picked up by Cardinal. Fighting with Johnson. Johnson comes away with it. The assistant GM for Port Huron. The shot goes up, and I believe it hit the rafters.
Looks like
it's only the second or third time we've seen that this season. We'll get a whistle. 13:25 to go in the middle frame. 2-1 Motor City.
One thing that's interesting, a couple of times, it always seems like Port Huron takes about a period and 7 to maybe a period and a half until they realize, oh yeah, it's a hockey game, let's get back in it. Right now the ice is starting to tilt in the Prowlers' favor. You can definitely tell they're comfortable, getting more shots, playing the neutral zone very, very well. They're being stingy.
Cardinal and Heinzel had a tie-up, and officials have been very lenient tonight. Let a lot go. Cardinal, right wing circle, keeps it. Forehand shot, doesn't make it past the backside of Adam Heinzel. Again, getting in the way of the puck, second or third time we've called his name.
Yeah, it's now 3 block shots for him tonight.
Gaudette, far hash marks pass, just a bit too strong. Rockers will have to touch up win. Dumps deep. Tolyu keeps it behind Gaudette. Can't keep it in the zone. All the way down. I'm going to say it did not touch Gaudette. And icing on Port Huron. Offensive zone draw for the Rockers.
Yeah, like we mentioned, there's a couple new guys. Of course, Tolyu is a newer guy in net for Port Huron. They scratched Steven Jacobs, who did play last night. Actually looked good manning the blue line. And, of course, number 85, Braden Aubin. Been playing well, but of course Motor City picked up a new goaltender in the span that Trevor Babin is going to be out. Ricky Gonzalez from Chatham University was picked up. He's the backup for 2 weeks until Babin comes back.
Jay in the offensive zone, don't like to see him straight out in front. Suffredini and Colton closed down, point blank shot, didn't have an angle, knocked away by Scott. But one of the reasons why Motor City, I think, has started to get success is after they made a few roster moves, they've had a lot of consistency as Jay tips that puck wide on their roster. Port Huron, since they've been getting going, especially in net, has not had that consistent roster structure. It seems like every weekend there's at least 2 or 3 new guys or rotating guys in the lineup.
Yeah, and that's something that's really been interesting with Port Huron is their goaltending situation all year. And again, I don't know what – I'm not going to question a coach or a GM. If you feel a move needs to be made, you make a move, right? But I don't know how you get rid of Danik Rodrigue, and especially in the way your goaltending situation has been down the stretch. They could really use him. And here's a turnover.
Foley leaves back, and Colton neutralizes the offensive opportunity. Suffredini racing, 3-on-2 if he hurries. Suffredini leaves it back for Conway for the hat trick, and it's blockered away.
But going back to that point, Roderick Danik could be a guy that could really help this team. But again, he was traded away about 2 or 3 weeks ago now. So Yeah, Port Huron is trying to find its identity with guys in net, mixing and matching. Of course, Paulin got injured, so now he's on the coaching staff.
Chance out in front goes by the wayside. Inger sends it to neutral ice, but Ben, like I said a few moments ago, Port Huron applying the pressure to Motor City.
Oof.
Rocket goes high and wide. Johnson leaves it back for Stoyer, returns to Johnson, back behind the net. Graham out in front, Foley, and it's rejected by Scott. Point blank chance. Keeps it 2-1 thanks to the glove of Blake Scott.
Point blank Scott right there on a save. How do you like that? And there's more pushing and shoving after the play. Stoya instigating. It's one of the numbers that Elias Thompson had to watch out for. But one thing you'll notice, Gino Mini's shot. We know Gino Mini can blast, right? He can blast from far away, 65, 70 feet. But Port Huron knows that they can beat Blake Scott up high, so you got to make sure. That's a small window, too. When you're shooting that high on the net, you have about a 6-inch gap to hit that top part. So it's really interesting to see that that's the shots Port Huron's okay with taking because they're not high percentage shots. You want a guy like that in front. Blake Scott made a great save on it, but you want to make sure you can get him moving and get maybe a rebound because Blake, while he's playing well, does not always secure rebounds as well as either. It's just interesting to see what they're settling for on the ice right now.
That puck go out of play. Was it tipped? If it did, I think Miguel Diaz might be going to the box for 2 for delay a game.
We'll see.
The linesmen and officials talking about it. He was in his own zone. The only question was did it touch anything before it went over the glass?
I don't know, and that was the funny thing. Last night, Motor City had a delay a game call as well, so this would be the second time this happened. They're taking a long review at it. They're talking it over. Everyone's talking about it. Let's see what the outcome is.
10:47 here to go in the middle frame. Autism Awareness Night here at Big Boy Arena. In the next intermission, Freddie the Pizza Man, who has helped spearhead this initiative and also famous for having some of the best pizza in the Metro Detroit area, will be joining us for a short chat in the second intermission. So stay tuned and look forward to that.
Have you gone to Melvindale to have some pizza?
I have actually not been able to. It's a bit of a stretch. But
yeah, for you, yes.
Yeah, it's been, I need to make it a priority.
Oh, it is good. It is. If you go to Freddy's, this is going to be a little bit payola, but I don't care. If you go to Freddy's, you will eat like a king. The pizza is great. The goulash is amazing. He does more than just pizza. He knows how to work a pizza oven and other things. He's a great cook.
We'll get to talk with him in 10 minutes and 41 seconds as it stays 5-on-5 hockey. No delay of game penalty called. Puck in neutral ice. Gaudette swiping at it. Another mitt finds the floor. This time, I believe that's Miguel Diaz.
Yep. Nick's playing without a glove.
Johnson inside the blue line. Shot loose out in front, and it's deflected by one of the black jerseys back to the blue line. Johnson banks it, looking for a pass. Didn't have the right angle. Miguel Diaz tries to horseshoe out. Cannot. Mini turns it over. Gaudette trying to use those long legs to get behind. He leaves it back. Near side, Makema throws out that the corner. Derek Makema puts it in the soup can. 3-1, Motor City.
Are you kidding? Derek Makema. I have not seen a shot like that from Derek since opening night.
That is number 21 for 71, and you could not have picked the puck up off the ice and placed it in the corner any better. Derek Makema with a beauty to make it 3-1. All started when Roman Gaudette forced the turnover. Knew he didn't have the numbers, left it back, and Makema finishes it off. What a shot, what a sequence by the Rockers.
Is that Derek Makema or Scott Koash that fired that one? My goodness.
Makema looking for another one, throws on net. This time it's patted away. Out in front, trying to get it to Lambden. He's knocked down from behind. Play goes on. Behind the net. Slips out to the point. Perks to win. Right wing circle. Banks back. Lambden. It's knocked off the puck. Port Huron trying to work it out of the zone, and that shot has flipped the momentum here in Big Boy Arena. Port Huron had been controlling the play, but it was Motor City that gets the next critical goal.
Oh, man, you can tell everyone's breathing a sigh of relief so far. But, yeah, you're right. The atmosphere in this building has changed. The body language in Port Huron has changed. The Prowlers, though, can be pesky. They can get another one.
Again, trying to just cause chaos out in front. They're throwing the puck out in front as much as they can. It's led to the one goal. Almost up and over the defense, but Matt Stoya, that long frame, was able to get the stick up. Conway goes down, no arm goes up. Stoya's stick was in the vicinity, don't know if it got it. The officials didn't think so. Federley leaves back for Graham, in close, bounces wide. Federley picks it up, the Port Huron native, back to the blue line. Parsons walks to the line, and it's swallowed up by Blake Scott. 8:32 to go in the second period. 3-1, Motor City, and Ben, we need this media timeout. I'm sure the players need it a little more than we do. But let's see where the shots on goal stand. Let's give the official assist on that last goal, and let's take a look around the Fed.
Yeah, well, shots on goal right now have been even so far here in the second period. 6-6, Motor City leading the category 21-18. We know Roman Gaudet intercepted it at the blue line, carried it through, dropped it to Cade Lambden, who then gave it to Derek Makema. Those are the assists. Makema again hitting the far right corner to make it 3-1. And then around the league, Elmira is trailing Danbury 2-1. Still 2-0 Carolina over Mississippi. Still no score happening between Columbus and Binghamton, and it's yet to get underway in Watertown.
Been a fun night here. A lot of kids in the building, the Genesis Credit Union Kids Zone. It's starting a team, especially in a, I'd say, a bigger market where you do have to compete with a lot of things to get fans' attention. It's been slowly growing, and I think a lot of kids here at the Genesis Credit Union Kids Zone are enjoying it. Ben, it's been a struggle at times to get people in, but when they get in, every fan I've talked to almost gives 100% positive reviews. Small things here or there, but it seems like the fan experience has been A1, and that seems to be around the entire Fed.
Yeah, the Fed has a lot of good venues. Here we have a full-service bar. We got a good merchandise tent, and, of course, you can't beat the Kids Zone. They do, I mean, we've seen what? Balloon animals, we've seen balloon guns, balloon lightsabers. You can play mini sticks over there.
We've had face painting at times.
Face painting as well is over there. Free candy, which I don't know a lot of parents would like to hear. But yeah, it's fun. You can come to a game. We'd love to have you. Just go to mcrockershockey.com/tickets and get some tickets.
3-1 here in the penultimate series here at home. 8:10 to go, second period. Derek Makema, the last one for Motor City to give the Rockers a 2-goal edge. In front, can't get any shots on net. Last attempt was from, I believe, McLean out in front. Stoya, shot, bounces wide.
Man.
Scott recovers.
These Prowlers have been tenacious. Good series there in the offensive zone, but Blake Scott standing tall.
Parsons backhands to the wrong color jersey. Koash had to hold up waiting for his team to get onside. Dumps in deep, chases after it. Gaudet behind the net, fighting two white jerseys. Uses that large frame to keep that puck alive. Back to the blue line to the far hash marks. Cardinal lost it. Flipped up to Stoya. 1-on-2, reinforcements come. Stoya can't do much. It's sent into the corner. Minnie to Aubin. Left wing circle, shot deflected by Ryder. That called him flush. Minnie, far side. Stoya rolls it into the zone. Milam takes his shot. Time as Aubin comes on the forecheck. Back-to-back rink wide passes. Finds Ryder on the forehand. It's just saved by Tollew. Had a good look. It was a perfect feed out in front. But Brian Tollew keeps the score where it's at, 3-1.
It's interesting. The two breakaways we've seen tonight, where have they gone to test Tollew? The 5-hole. Tollew knows this. He knows that if players try to get him moving, they think that they can get that 5-hole. I would have liked to see a shot to the opposite post. That would have been a goal. It's a split decision you have to make, but that is now twice Tollew has shut down the 5-hole, and Motor City should be up on two breakaway goals, 5-1.
Shot deflected in front by Lambden, deflected wide, unfortunately. Jay sent it up to Devaney, bounces to the far side. Perks picks it up. Rockers working the other way. Makema had the last goal for Motor City. Right wing circle, pass across, doesn't find a home. Bounces to Perks on the hash marks. Turns around near the boards. 2 white jerseys around him. Perks chips it to himself behind the net. On the near side. Sliding up to the hash marks. Perks back to the point. Miguel Diaz surveys the scene. Flips in deep. Perks cut off by Minnie. Perks working to get the puck back, cannot. Bounces to Johnson on the far side.
Yeah, that's a good shift by Gino Mitty. He was the one who lifted the stick of Inger and was able to help get the clear here.
Jay got behind the defense. The pass just a bit off. Dalton Jay, he's a slippery one, number 92.
How frustrating does it have to be for Dalton Jay to get a good look like that? You haven't scored against Motor City very often in the last couple of games. You had a prime opportunity there, and you still couldn't get one. That's got to be frustrating for Dalton. Dalton, again, plays hard, plays tough. He's almost in that spot Declan Conway was in the past couple of weeks where he's going to work hard and hopefully good things will happen because you're working hard. But, man, that was a good opportunity, but better saved by Blake Scott.
Dalton Jay, 32 goals, 34 assists coming into tonight. Prowlers all-time leading scorer. Definitely used to lighting the lamp, but all season long, Motor City's done a good job of neutralizing the Prowlers' biggest threat.
They have. They've been forcing Port Huron to beat them with other players. We've talked about it before in these games in the I-94 rivalry, but again, Dalton Jay's not giving up. He's a guy that will keep skating, keep looking for opportunities. When he went through a goalless streak, he was getting on the board with assists. At one point, he didn't score in about 5 games, if I remember, but he got 3 points through assists in those games at well. So,
Rockers win the offensive zone draw. Suffredini banks it off the far boards. It was headed right out in front. Tall, you got a stick on it. It was flipped up into the netting. We'll redo the offensive zone draw. 5:26 to go in the second period. 3-1 Motor City on top of the Port Huron Prowlers here at Big Boy Arena. Brady Beaton alongside Ben Zlagi. But an even period, 1-1, will actually bring the face-off to neutral ice. Seems some of the chippiness has calmed down a bit. I think part of that is haven't seen a lot of number 8 on the ice for Motor City. He's a magnet for it tonight, whether it's his fault or not, and depending on your view, could be either way. But when he's on the ice, that's when the chippiness seems to fire up a bit.
A chippiness magnet and a chick magnet. He gets named Big Sexy for a reason.
5 minutes to go in the second period. Federley out in front, slides one wide left. Foley chipping at it. Bouncing in front, it's soccered away. Still in the zone, it's poked away as Inger gets it to neutral ice. Gives Motor City a chance to reset. It was off the boards, up and out of play. Go to our final media timeout. Take a look at shots on goal. Take a look at the scores around the league. And send it over to Ben for all that.
So Port Huron took the lead in shots on goal 10-7. It's now tied 22 apiece in the category. Still going around the Fed. Mississippi got one back. They still trail 2-1 though against Carolina. Elmira still trails 2-1 against Danbury. Danbury got out to a 2-0 lead though. So Elmira and Mississippi cutting into those leads. Still nothing resolved between Columbus and Binghamton. And again, still have not dropped the puck in Watertown, though that is going to happen in about 6 minutes. So all the games are going to happen, and there is going to be some games tomorrow. Mississippi and Carolina and Delaware and Watertown will square off. So more games on a Sunday afternoon. How do you like that?
HealthQuest Physical Therapy is Southeast Michigan's premier providers of physical therapy. Get back to living life to the fullest and visit one of HealthQuest's more than 35 convenient locations. See how HealthQuest can help at hqpt.com. Sure, some of the Rockers needed a little bit of help after their 3-game series. After this one, again, they will get ready. They will make the long trek to Biloxi on the coast of the Gulf of Mexico in Mississippi for next weekend for 2 games, and then they will return home for the final 2 games of the regular season here at Big Boy Arena before we get started with the playoffs.
I was going to say, you're more up to date on Fed news than I am. I knew there was going to be a press conference in Delaware. Did they extend their lease at the fairgrounds, or would that not happen?
I will stay out of that for now.
Okay.
We will just say it is up in the air.
I was going to say, I knew it was up in the air.
It is up in the air.
Okay.
Game still up in the air. 2-goal advantage for Motor City. Ryder, diagonal dump in behind the net. Johnson playing it for Port Huron. Feed doesn't have a home. Rotundi steps in front of it for Motor City to the far side. Merritt backhands it into the offensive zone. Keeps it in the zone. It was actually sitting on top of the board for a moment. Stoya at the red line. Flips it over the rafters. It did hit the roof, but I don't know if you can see on the camera. It went over the top of the rafters, and it's got about a 1.5 foot space it could have went. It hit the roof and went over top. We'll get a neutral zone faceoff.
Yeah, Port Huron likes to do those type of Hail Mary bombs where they like to flip the puck. And again, this isn't the same like McMorran. McMorran, it's a very high roof. Here we have a very shallow roof. But
I was going to say, this is a little shorter rink than McMorran. Has very, very high ceilings up in Port Huron.
Yes, we have a nice, small, humble barn.
Motor City looking for the weekend sweep. Knocked off the Prowlers a night ago in overtime in McMorran, leading 3-1 here at Big Boy Arena. Devaney backhand right in the glove of Blake Scott. He made that one look easy.
Yeah, he made that one look pedestrian. Just a routine save for Blake Scott. Got down the butterfly, popped up the mitt, and caught the fly ball. Yeah, I just saw that news come through about Delaware, and I was like, huh. I mean, I know there's rumors, obviously, and even Delaware said there was going to be a press conference. I just didn't see anything come out of it. I think that was supposed to be Tuesday, though, that they were supposed to have their press conference.
This week, Delaware and Mississippi both have been mathematically eliminated from the playoffs.
Yep.
They know that when their season will come to the end for the other 8 teams, they will play on as the draw goes right into the pads of Scott. Will redo it. Again, 1 will play 4, 2 plays 3 in the division. Friday, April 21st will be the start of the playoffs. The lower seed actually gets the first home game before going to the higher seed for a pair. So getting that first home game in a 3-game series, if you can steal game 1 at home, makes everything really, really tough going back to the other team's barn.
Yeah, definitely got to steal 1 at home if you're the away team. No question about it. It's hard to win 2 on the road anyways. If you can only have to win 1, ooh.
Another glove save by Scott. He's settled down. 3:37 to go in the second period. 3-1, Motor City on top in the period, 1 goal aside. Scott has settled in. The 1 goal he gave up, can't really blame him too much. It was a chaotic play. It was just thrown out in front, caught his pad at a bad angle.
Yeah, and that's the funny thing. You know, Blake Scott has only been beaten by weird goals like that recently, except for last night. Last night being the exception. He was beat cleanly 2 out of 3 times last night. But most of the goals he's been going up against that he's been letting in have been rebound goals or funny bounces off the pads like that. But he's been playing well.
Colton rink-wide pass, sticks to Ryder, walks it in the zone, shot misses wide of the net. Had a good look, just pushed it a bit too far to the right. Schumacher lost the puck for a moment as he sets up the breakout. Slowly saunter his way between the circles. Feed to the near side to Federley. He lost it. Cardinal picks it up right wing circle. Backhand. Back near the blue line. Cardinal tips it. Goes wide of the net. Perks picks it up. Uses his large frame to protect the puck to the the far half wall. Sliding back to neutral ice, Rockers need to touch up. 2:39 to go here in period number 2. 2-goal Motor City lead. Sufferdini's dump is cut off by Tolyu. Lambden racing after it. Schumacher and Lambden going after it. They're going to let it play on. Very lenient. Oh, here
Scott's
comes
coming out.
The official in the far corner did put his arm up. So it will be a power play upcoming for Motor City. They blow it dead pretty quickly. And Schumacher and Lambden exchanging pleasantries.
You and I have talked about it before, Brady. I don't know why people pick on Cade Lambden. Cade was a guy who has played at Port Huron before. They know he's not going to step away from any altercation whatsoever. And of course, last night, basically did a Luthez press on Alex Johnson to create a turnover. But I don't know why these guys keep going after Cade. Cade's not going to step away from you. He's going to welcome a fight, and they think that they can pick on a guy who's 5'6" and get away with it. He'll drop the gloves if he has to.
Motor City going back on the power play, brought to you by Digital Macomb Indoor Billboards. Reach over 100,000 people in 1 month, all over Macomb County by visiting digitalmacomb.com. Schumacher goes to the box, 2-4 cross-checking. That'll work the majority of the second period. Motor City scored on their only power play early in the game. Conway tipped in a shot from Koash. They take their time. Left wing circle. Suffredini leaves to the far side. Koash sends behind, touch pass, returns to Koash. To the point, Suffredini, top to the left wing circle. Koash shot, doesn't make it to Tolu. It gets slid out to neutral ice. Rockers reset. 1:20 left to go in the man advantage for Motor City. Turnover will kill some more time for Port Huron. Parsons sends it the length of the ice. Scott touches it up. Another rush for Motor City, but it'll be against some fresh Prowlers. Suffredini stops at the red line, backhands to Koash. Near the logo, returning to Suffredini, looking for the centering feed, throws it low on net, and is it in the back of the net? The officials have not made a ruling.
Yeah.
Is he pointing? They're going to say it's a goal. It slid between the legs of Brian Tolu. Was not the prettiest goal, but Suffredini gets it all the same. Number 6 on the year, 4-1 Motor City.
Well, I will say this. I want to make sure I get his number right. I don't want to guess here, but it was pretty easy. I think it was Brandon Batens who was behind the net, but Tolu tried to hide it. He had his hand behind the end line as it snuck past, and the officials saw it the whole way, and just without, upping the goaltender, kind of went, no, yeah, your hand's over the end line, it's going to count.
That's a big one for Motor City, a 3-goal advantage as we head to the end of the middle frame. That's one Tolly was going to want back. Cardinal gives to Gaudette. Motor City looking for one more before we take our second intermission break. Again, Freddie the Pizza Man coming up in about 40 seconds. Milam throws on net, 5-hole covered up. But Ben, you talked about it earlier in the period. They've been trying to go 5-hole. That time it just sneaks its way through. Not the prettiest goal, but they don't ask how, they ask how many.
Yeah, again, they don't have to look pretty, they just have to count, and that's why I'm surprised by Port Huron, right? Port Huron's shot selection tonight, it's been suboptimal if you're a Prowlers fan. You would expect them to do a little bit better with their opportunities, with their looks and things of that nature, but that's just not the case. And Motor City, again, they're going to test the 5-hole. They're going to keep going at it till it goes in. Saw Suffredini do it and get a goal, and that's why they're up 3-1. They're just persistent.
Dalton J, right wing circle. Shot was tipped wide. Devaney couldn't put it on net. 25 seconds left to go in the middle frame. Milam fakes the slap shot, worked the dangle, lost the puck. Still loose in front, it's patted away. 18 seconds to go in the second period. One last rush for Port Huron. Don't like the looks of this. Pass knocked away. Jay was wide open in front of the net. Couldn't get it past the Rockers defense.
Good job by Nick Miguel Diaz blocking that one, allowing Motor City to get the puck back to center. Motor City's been playing well. And Johnson even knows it. He's upset.
40 minutes down, 20 to go. And Motor City has the 3-goal advantage as we have a little extracurriculars going on near the Port Huron bench.
Well, it's Cade Lambden and company.
Well, Motor City has the edge on the scoreboard. Don't want to do anything that could allow Port Huron to get back into it. Intermission stats are brought to you by Triumph Geared Solutions. Machinist jobs are available right here in Metro Detroit. Visit careers.triumphgroup.com to learn more. Ben, recap the scoring, the shots on goal before we welcome in Freddie.
Yeah, well, Dante Suffredini got the power play goal. Declan Conway got the assist, so Conway has 3 points tonight. Been the main point getter, number 44. But shots on goal favoring Port Huron 12-11, though Motor City favors it the entire game, 26 24. Still going around the Fed. Carolina added one, Mississippi added one, but the Thunderbirds lead 3-2. Danbury still has a 2-1 lead over Elmira. Binghamton has a 1-goal lead over Columbus, and they just got underway between Delaware and Watertown, and still nothing resolved there, but they just got that one underway.
20 minutes left to go in the final game of the I-94 series. Motor City with the 4-1 lead over Port Huron, as we will welcome in Freddie the Pizza Man here for Autism Awareness Night. Freddie, we'd like to thank you so much for coming on. How have you been enjoying your time at Big Boy Arena in Motor City Rocker Hockey?
Absolutely. Look at the irony of the score. Today's April 1st. The score is 4-1. So
there you
pretty
go.
Good, huh?
Works out well. This day means a lot to you.
Absolutely.
Would you like to tell your story and let everyone at home know why 4-1 means so much to you?
Autism Acceptance Month, Autism Awareness Month. It means a lot to me. I have a 10-year-old son with autism. It's changed my life, my family, my wife, and we just wanted to give back. Our thing is our son is doing really well, and he's doing great in the schools, and our thing is we just want to give back to all the schools and the parents, and our way of doing it is equipping sensory rooms in the state of Michigan. So that's our thing.
Well, it seems to be more common thing nights like this, not just in minor leagues, but in the pro leagues. What can people at home do that maybe don't have a child with autism? How can they help out this cause?
Well, the only thing I say is it's a great question, because not everyone is affected by autism, but to me, we're all the same people, right? So we have all the things that we can do in life. The children with autism can do the same thing, right? They can do the same things that we do. They just may do it differently. So accept it and understand, some patience, and we can all get along. That's the way we look at it.
Well, thank you so much for bringing awareness to this. We have a booth over on the far side, but that's not all you do. You are very famous in the Metro Detroit area and really all throughout Michigan for your pizza and your Italian cuisine. Tell people about that side of your business, and you've created quite the following with it.
Well, Ben knew me before Barstool came along, and
he was raving about it earlier.
And I did well before, but Barstool has put my brand on the map. But for me, I look at it as pizza's giving me everything in life, and now what I'm doing is trying to give it back to everybody else through autism awareness, and that's the way I look at it. So
if people want some of your famous pizza, where do they go? Where can they get some of Freddie the Pizza Man's pizza?
Melvindale, which is a couple minutes from the Lions trading facility, and all I say is just stand in line, and I promise you I'm going to make you the best pizza I could possibly make.
No, Ben was over the moon. I live up north a little bit, so I'm a bit far away, but everyone has told me that I've talked about it, that you have to put it on the list of something you need to do. But thanks for doing all this. And again, how's the game been for you? Just as a fan sitting back watching, how have you enjoyed the Rockets?
Well, I was just telling him, I said, this is as good as going to a Red Wing game. I'm having a great time. Honestly, I really am. This is the turnout's been great. And I tell everybody, if you're not a big sports fan, come to some of these games locally, because I'm telling you, you're going to have just as much fun. I really mean that.
And I think one of the big reasons is the intimacy you get.
Yes.
You're sitting close. You can be right there. You can meet the players after the game, and you're spending a lot less, and you're sitting real close to the action.
Absolutely, and I got to sit with you guys a little bit. You guys are doing a great job. I mean, hockey's not easy to call. You guys are doing a fantastic job, and I mean that. This has been great. I really love it. I got friends up there sitting in C2 over there. I'm going to go visit them, and I can't wait. I hope I get the numbers right for the 50-50.
Well, Freddie, is there anything else the people at home should know? Any way they can, again, donate or help out your cause?
Listen, just spread autism awareness. You don't have to support me, but support autism, because we're all the same, and they require more patience. And so I live it every day. Just requires more patience. Support it. That's all I ask.
Well, thank you very much. It's kind of cool this is happening. The Rockers are going down to Mississippi, and one of their 2 games down there is Autism Awareness Night down in Biloxi. So it's definitely growing. Again, Freddie the Pizza Man, you can find him online on Twitter. He has a big following there. And again, if Ben's recommendation is anything, go get some pizza.
Well, Ben's a great guy.
Yeah.
Can I say I'm going to take Gordy's the coaches. I'm going to take his jacket just before we leave because that purple jacket is sweet.
Well, Freddie, we'll let you get to it, but thank you so much for taking some time and joining us on the broadcast.
Thank you so much.
He is Freddie the Pizza Man. We'll step aside for the rest of the intermission. You are watching Motor City Rockers Hockey on the Rockers YouTube page. Back here at Big Boy Arena, getting ready for period number 3 between Motor City and Port Huron. Motor City with the 3-goal advantage as we head into the third frame. Brady Beaton alongside Ben Zlagi. Ben, this has been as solid as Motor City's played. The last about month of hockey, Motor City's, you can tell they're taking that playoff mentality and they just keep applying it. Now, you don't want a repeat of last night where they gave up a 3-1 lead.
Well, no, but it's funny you mentioned playoff mentality. Had to steal a win against Binghamton last Friday, right? They were chasing goals all night. You had to steal one when Blake was having a great game down in Carolina, but it takes that playoff mentality, right? Not being afraid to chase goals, finding ways to win, out battling your opponent, just doing what you can to steal points. Motor City's done it, and in 3 consecutive weekends. So, yeah, they already have that playoff mindset. They already have that mentality, and they're showing it tonight they don't want any chance. They want these 3 points, which, again, is going to help in the playoff push. We've talked about it before, but it's really going to help because, again, it will help solidify things in the standings, get up to 11 points separation between you and Port Huron. Also, it demoralizes your opponent a little bit because you can break and breathe a little bit because, again, you had 4 games against Mississippi, but right now Motor City just wants to keep playing hard, playing tough with that mindset.
20 minutes left to go in the I-94 rivalry. Motor City looking to take the season series. They lead the first 15 games 8-7. These two teams started off against each other all the way back in October, finishing up tonight in April. And an icing right off the bat. Draw goes down into the Motor City zone.
Well, really quickly, as we had the icing, was talking with Freddie during the intermission. Now, he's had the mission of helping autism awareness. His son was affected by autism. That's what kind of got him into it. He has put sensory rooms in 55 schools all across the state of Michigan. The goal is to make sure there's a room in every school in the state. How noble and awesome is that?
I don't think you'd be hard-pressed to find someone that has a bad thing to say about Freddie.
Yeah.
He seems like he is as genuine as they come. And again, we thank him so much for just spending a few minutes coming on and talking with us because he might not admit it, but he does so much for him coming out and just saying good words about us. He'll play it off, but he is kind of a big deal.
Oh, he's a very big deal. And again, go to his restaurant. You'll eat like a king. Go to his website. Help him on his mission, getting sensory rooms all across the state of Michigan, maybe even more. There might be some news that he told me. I don't want to spoil anything, but there might be some big news for him in the sensory room area coming soon in the Metro Detroit area and the Lansing area. But again, he's doing everything all across the state. It's not just like focused here. It's all across the state of Michigan. It's pretty awesome.
Gaudette into the offensive zone. Can't get it by Tollew. And a big hit from behind on Parsons.
Cardinal doesn't like that.
There's going to be some exceptions taken. Gaudette getting involved. Aubin involved. Linesman trying to keep the peace. And it actually looks like cooler heads may prevail.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Cardinal was the one who got flipped into the net. That's what's going to cause the penalty.
Hand went up immediately.
Immediately.
But, Ben, let's flash back 3 months ago and a day. New Year's Eve.
Oh, my
These
goodness.
two teams played. And a moment like that, cooler heads would not have prevailed.
No.
When Motor City has kept the focus, and that doesn't mean they've been soft. That doesn't mean they let things fly. But when they've kept cooler heads and not taken the bait that Port Huron's dangled out there, that's a part of the big reason why they are playing as as good as anyone in the Fed.
Oh, 100%, because that was the calling card for Motor City, right? Anytime the Rockers came in, you can get them to forget to play hockey, get in their heads, they'll draw bad penalties. That's not the calling card anymore. And if anything, they use that against other teams now. They accept it, that's the previous reputation, and they use it to their advantage. Because, again, this team has the second best power play in the league for a reason. They convert when they have the man advantage. It's not bad.
Motor City on the power play, brought to you by Digital Macomb Indoor Billboards. Reach over 100,000 people in a month all around Macomb County by visiting digitalmacomb.com. Brian Parsons in the box for 2 minutes. 25 seconds of that has already elapsed. Suffredini scored the goal right before we went into the break. Sends it around to Koash, back to the low circle. Returns to Koash, to the point. Colton returns to Koash straight away. Walks it up on the backhand. Koash turns around, feeds to Colton. Rink-wide pass. Conway touches it to Koash, returns to Conway. He has the first 2 goals of the game. Declan Conway, very patient. The luxury you're afforded when you're up 4-1. Koash back to Suffredini. A patient power play that's poked away, and Port Huron will take that. A minute has been killed off the Parsons penalty. No shots on goal yet.
Yeah, good poke check there by Evan Foley.
Colton at the blue line. At the point, walks it straight away, fakes the shot, gives far side Conway. Taking his sweet old time, throws wide of the net. Miguel Diaz can't settle it down, hops over his stick. Stoya takes it to neutral ice. He's looking to go on the attack. Poke check from behind. Beautiful steal by Miguel Diaz, starts the rush. Cardinal, right wing circle, returns, and Miguel Diaz can't handle it cleanly. 24 seconds left to go on the Parsons penalty. And Stoya will take it into the offensive zone, throw it off the right shoulder of Scott. And Motor City has time for one more rush. 12 seconds to work with on the man advantage. Gaudette, left wing circle, leaves it on the backhand. It's kicked back to Milam. Slap shot, and it's blocked away by Talyu. And Port Huron will get the penalty kill, keeping it at 4-1 Motor City. Turnover, look out. Aubin on the forehand, patted away by Blake Scott. Never wavered. Scott stands tall, keeps it 4-1.
Blake Scott did not blink. The rookie had him beat, but nope, Blake Scott says, I got a leg pad for you, and showed it to him with ease.
Talyu flashes the leather a bit, takes the biscuit out of midair. We'll get a whistle. 16-18 to go in the third period. 4-1 Motor City on top of Port Huron.
Also, Freddie the Pizza Man has a golf outing. If you're just finding ways to support his quest to help with autism acceptance, just go to Google, go to Freddie the Pizza Man. He has the golf outing you can help donate to. You can donate to all the causes. It's really easy. That's another thing that is a tip in his cap. It's made it easy to donate to his cause as well.
It's a cause worth donating to. 4 minutes into the third period. Motor City nursing a 3-goal advantage. McLean to the far side. Chartrand sends it into the stomach of Scott. He swallows it up, and we will get a whistle as Lambden gets in front of a couple white jerseys and his goaltender.
Oh, my good. How do you not love Cade? Honestly, how do you not love Cade?
He's one of those guys that when he's on your team, you absolutely love his energy. If he's playing against you, he probably is public enemy number one.
100%.
You got to have a guy or two like that on the team. And one thing Cade Lambden knows what to do is he can toe the line better than most. Something that, again, earlier in the season, the Rockers couldn't do.
Oh, the official just finally had to tell Cade, get off, but he wants McLean badly. That has been something that was brewing over from last night. We've talked about it. We've touched on it previously. It's just surprising McLean is not interested in dropping the gloves. He's just more interested in talking. Johnson
in neutral ice. Port Huron chasing 3. Devaney.
Didn't Elvis say a little less conversation, a little more action? How about that? Just stop talking. Throw some gloves. Why not?
There's been a lot of talking, not a lot of action. The shot easily saved by Talyu. Far side Aubin. Over the Rockers logo into the zone. Keeps it on the forehand near the half wall. Sends on net and sent to safety by Suffredini. Immediately recovered by Port Huron. Still loose. Johnson can't get it through traffic. I believe it was Conway that got in front of it. He'll take it into the offensive zone. Conway centers. Inger lost it. No one able to get the upper hand in the neutral zone. 5 minutes into the third period. Cardinal rips a slap shot, and it's nearly deflected up and over the protective netting. That'll take us to the media timeout. Send it over to Ben for shots on goal and the happenings around the Fed.
Yeah, shots on goal still relatively even. It's 4-5 here in the third period favoring Motor City. Overall, 31-28 favoring Motor City as well. Added an assist to Dante Suffredini's goal. Scott Koash getting another point tonight. He has 2. He assisted the first goal, obviously. And around the Fed, it's now 3-3. Mississippi and Carolina all tied up in Winston-Salem. It's tied up in Elmira, 2-2 game between Danbury and Elmira. Binghamton has a 2-0 lead over Columbus and still scoreless, Watertown and Delaware. A lot of surprising scores going around the league. Did not think Danbury would be tied with Elmira right now.
No, a lot of close games. And while Motor City is likely the 3 seed, that can change. Even with 3 points tonight, it doesn't guarantee them the 3 spot. They'd be 11 up on Port Huron with 12 possible points left for the Prowlers. Now, to catch Carolina would take a lot of luck. They have a game in hand. Assuming if Mississippi can win the game in regulation, keep Carolina at 104, they'd keep them 13 behind Motor City. Now, they play Mississippi again tomorrow to make up that last game, but the last 4 games for Carolina are against the league-leading, or I should say division-leading Columbus River Dragons. Unlikely, but still possible. The road not easy for Carolina. And Ben, selfishly, I don't mind Columbus and Carolina beating each other up a bit before the playoffs get started. They'll have 4 in a row.
I was going to say, I don't think anyone minds those two going at it. But, of course, as you were saying, Port Huron can maybe still catch Motor City for that 3 seed. They have a tall task. They closed the season with Danbury, who's playing just as hot as anyone in the league right now as well.
Other 2 games against Watertown down the stretch help them a whole heck of a lot if they can erase this 3-goal deficit. Motor City playing very sound. 14:29 to go in the third period. 4-1. Motor City on top of Port Huron, as we'll get a whistle. After all that, it'll be an offside.
Yeah, a lot of fans wanted their hands up, but Milam just lost his edge. He just hit the ice on his own accord. There wasn't a stick there to help him hit the ice. And guess who's on the ice? Number 8.
Few cheers as Elias Thompson.
Oh, and he's already going after McLean. He's going after him already. Oh, come on. McLean was on the far side. Now he's going to go to the near side on the faceoff dot, forcing Chartrain to the other side. Come on.
Stoya can't handle it cleanly.
Oh, my goodness. You're going to talk all game long, and then you go to the opposite faceoff circle? That's bad.
Thompson on the far side, keep an eye on number 8 in black. He has been a magnet for some chippiness.
Oh, he's keeping an eye on 28 as well. He's just eyeing him like a hawk. Look at that.
Merritt beats out the icing. It's Thompson following around McLean. Thompson ends up with the puck. Diagonal pass, can't find the stick, and Stoya has it for Port Huron as he glides backwards into his own zone, up the near side, and we'll get some pushing and shoving. McLean went down. The linesman telling him to get back into the play.
Yeah, Mike Wynn, as he entered the playing surface, took out McLean, and then Elias was going to come off as well, and they talked, and that's when he wanted him off the ice and get back into the action. McLean got hit cleanly, though, by Mike Wynn. Took a shot right when he had him.
We're going to get a penalty on Motor City, a high stick. Let's see who they send to the box. I think it may be Inger.
Well, I don't know.
No one heading over yet.
I was going to say, I don't see any doors open. I think they're just going to call the high stick and just put the face-off down the offensive zone.
It was the referee that had the hand up.
I agree.
As if it was a penalty, and we have the box open.
Even the scores table is like, doors, yes, no. So, again, there's...
Oh, yep, they're taking Inger.
There it is.
Took a little bit. but they get 17, and that'll put us on the Kustra Law penalty kill for all your legal needs around the Metro Detroit area, including getting Inger out of the penalty box. Visit KustraLaw.com. That's KUSTRA Law.com. 2 minutes go up on the board, and if Port Huron's going to start a comeback bid, starts with these 2 minutes.
Yeah, it's what got them into the game last night. 2 power play goals. They need to get one here. But again, their power play's not been impressive. They've been, again, screening Blake Scott in front, but a lot of shots have been coming from the outside, and they're not peppering the net.
Scott will grab that out of midair. Only 8 seconds elapsed in the man advantage. Be a draw on the right wing dot. Port Huron 0 for 2 today. Motor City has tightened it up, especially from a night ago.
They really have. Again, they saw what Port Huron likes to do. They weren't sure if they were going to change it or anything like that, but again, it's shots from the outside, using a guy to screen the goaltender and then maybe try to get a deflection in front on the rebound. But Motor City, again, the diamond has been great, as you see there, to get the puck back to center.
Ryder takes his time working into the zone. Makema not onside. Get a neutral zone draw. 1:39 left to go in the Inger high sticking minor. 12:55 left to go in regulation.
So Derek got a haircut. I don't know if you noticed that last night. Looks
I did.
a little more professional. Why do you think he got a haircut?
I don't know. I've had long hair before. It can be a task to take care of.
It can be.
It is.
But he's had it all year. It's just weird.
It gets a little warmer out.
That is true.
It will. Trust me. There's a shot from about 150 feet. Goes right on net. Be a save for Talyu.
See, I thought maybe he had a wedding.
Who knows? There could be a lot of reasons. As picking the corner, Frank Schumacher. Port Huron not going away yet. Just beat Scott over the shoulder. And Schumacher with the beauty for Port Huron. Their first conversion on the power play tonight. 4-2. Motor City still on top.
Yeah, well, you thought maybe you give them one too many times with the man advantage, they'll cash one in. Again, they're third in the league with the man advantage. They finally got one through. Unsuspecting, Blake Scott wasn't ready for it, and the puck just beat him.
I think that's one where you just tip the cap to Schumacher. He picked the corner, and much like how Derek Makema had a beauty, sometimes good offense beats good defense.
Yep.
That's a tough angle. Play the percentages as a goaltender. Sometimes you just get beat. Still 4-2. Back to 5-on-5 hockey, 12:20 to go in the third period. Said if Port Huron wanted a comeback bid, started on that power play. Step one for them, Motor City trying to avoid deja vu. Foley in the neutral zone. Slides it in deep. Graham chasing after it. Squirts out to neutral ice. Johnson to the near side. Parsons returning to Johnson. He'll take it into the zone himself. Graham was offsides. He's saying he was pushed off. Johnson not happy. Graham not happy. And the officials are, again, they have been lenient all game long. But Graham and Johnson both showed their displeasure. For some crews, might have been a penalty. For this one, they have been consistent since puck drop. They are a little more laissez-faire with the penalties.
So that's one way to put it. Usually when a guy slams the puck, berates a lineman, and then slams the puck again to berate an official, and then again goes to the bench to say something, that's usually unsportsmanlike conduct. I'm surprised they let it slide 3 times.
Makema, right wing circle, shot off the face mask of Talyu. Will stay on, play goes on. Jay, the leading scorer, loses at the blue line. Hennig couldn't keep it in. Offside, will go back to a neutral ice draw. Feels like that clock working in slow motion right now. Port Huron looking for a final rush. Again, last night they erased a 3-1 deficit before Scott Koash netted the game winner in OT. 11:33 left in the third, off or neutral zone draw. Koash wins back to Colton. Motor City controls it to the near side. Sufferdini flips it to the red line. Henning. Hackey sacks it to himself. It's knocked back in the Rockers' end. Colton can't find the stick of Koash. It's tipped. won't go over the end line. Henning picks it up. Parsons in his own zone. Couldn't hold it. Inger keeps it in deep. Centering feed knocked away. Hennig broke it up. Parsons finished the cleanup. Sufferdini in close to Inger. Shot sticked aside. Hennig in the far side. Conway working as it's flipped up and out of the zone. Was it tipped? The near official saying yes. I believe Declan Conway got a piece of it.
Yeah, both officials said it was tipped, but man, Inger had a good look there in the slot, just pushed it wide. He's another guy that's been coming on as of late too. Connor Inger, again, a guy that replaced Dylan Johnson, who's still somewhere. But, he's playing just as well, filling that role. He's gotten good chemistry with Koash and Conway, and he's actually contributing as well, not just eating up space, gets assists, gets goals. It's an all-around player.
Inger, 9 goals, 18 assists. He has been one of the playmakers. He is always dangerous on the ice, especially when you pair him up with some pretty talented players.
Oh, definitely. But, again, he's a guy that will get lost when you have, obviously, you're on a line with a guy like Conway and Koash. When you're on a top line, people forget about the third guy, right? And people are going to be like, oh, well, you're just getting points because of those two. No, Inger's a guy who's setting these guys up, setting up plays away from the puck as well. He's a great guy. He's going to get overlooked because of the two guys he's paired with, but he's holding his own very well. The chemistry took a little bit of delay to get built, but once it's been built, it's been pretty incredible and reliable between those three.
Ryder backhands in deep. Talu will play it. Off the middle of the glass. Port Huron looking for the breakout. Denied by Miguel Diaz. Talu again goes behind his own net. Far side Stoya. Navigating the defense. Feed goes up and Gaudette throws a big hit. And we'll get a penalty. Are we getting Gaudette going off? I believe we are. They're going to get him for an elbow.
Well, again, you don't want to let Port Huron back into a game, but so far, maybe, again.
Gaudette having words with McLean.
Well, of course. Who else would you talk to besides 28 on the ice?
10:23 to go as Roman Gaudette goes to the box, and we'll have another Kustra Law penalty kill. For all your legal needs around the Metro Detroit area, visit KustraLaw.com, K-U-S-T-R-A law.com. 2 minutes for elbowing to Gaudette. And a good start to the penalty kill. A dump immediately. Stoya leaves it for his assistant coach, Johnson. Races up the middle of the floor, gives to Stoya. Over the blue line, it's poked away. Devaney picks it up. Sends it to the far side. Foley working back toward his own blue line. Turns it over, and another clear for Motor City. 30 seconds have elapsed in the Gaudette elbowing minor. Midway through the third period, Port Huron trying to have an encore performance of last night where they came back from a third period deficit. Wynn pinging his man to the boards. Foley sends Lambden into the boards, and that'll even it up.
That's got to be a 5.
It
might be a 2, but that's got to be a 5. Lambden unsuspecting, his whole body is against the boards, and you took 3 steps to hit him and flush him against those boards. That's got to be a 5 against Foley.
Foley not happy. He'll go to the box. Worst case scenario, it's 4-on-4 for Motor City, and they'll have a 49-second Digital Macomb indoor billboard power play. Once it is up, again, reach over 100,000 people in just a month all around Macomb County by visiting digitalmacomb.com as we await the verdict on the scoreboard. Evan Foley in the box. Still not happy. He'll go in for 2.
Nah, don't like that.
Nothing else neutralizes the chance for Port Huron. Ice will open up a bit 4-on-4.
Don't like that at all. Took 3 steps to hit a guy blindsided behind on the back. That's a 5-minute major, no matter where you are, what league you're in. I don't like that at all, but I'll take two. I'll take two. It's going to be 4-on-4 for 111, but
we'll go to our middle media timeout. 9:34 to go in the third period. 4-2, Motor City up on Port Huron. Take a look at shots on goal. What's happening around the league again? Some surprising games going on around the Fed. Ben.
Yeah, well, shots on goal still favor Motor City 7-6 here in the third. 33-30 overall in the game. Still knotted up between Mississippi and Carolina. It's all knotted up at threes. Still knotted up at twos between Danbury and Elmira. It is now 4-1. Binghamton over Columbus. And still 0-0 between Watertown and Delaware.
Again, Motor City, as it stands right now, would meet up with Carolina in the postseason. But Columbus, in the middle of the year, they looked almost invincible at times. Maybe it's a little bit the rest of the league is caught up, but there could be an argument to be made that once you get that early lead, it's like, all right, get us to the playoffs. They've had an end-of-the-season lull. They are due to play Port Huron should the standings stay. Again, they're in a race with Carolina, but Columbus struggling up in the Empire State.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, too, right, Port Huron was one of the teams early in the year to beat Columbus. So they know they can do it.
And I don't think 4 goals on a 5-on-3 with 2 majors.
Yeah, so I mean, they know that they can, hang with them. They have that confidence going in, and again, it's going to be an interesting playoffs. It really is. I mean, we know the Continental Division is probably the best division. Not just saying that because we're in it. You look at the standings and everything like that. It makes sense.
9:34 left to go in the third period. We'll have 4-on-4 hockey for 1:11, and then 49 seconds of the Rockers on the man advantage. Clean win. Unfortunately, the defenseman was not there. Jay sprinting after it. Had it on the forehand only for a moment, but it was Mike Wynn that beat him to the puck and broke up the opportunity.
Well, Graham just got away with a check in the back. So
Jay, far side. Rotundi pushes him on the boards. Both go down. Rockers have it in their own zone. Nakama pulls a U-turn, resets to the near side. 35 seconds left to go in the penalty to Gaudette. 1:23 left to go in the penalty to Foley for Port Huron. Ryder back in his own zone. Motor City can be patient with the 2-goal advantage. Suffredini flubs it to the near side. No one home. Merritt picks it up at the blue line.
Merritt could have walked it in. I don't know why he decided to retreat on the puck. It was laying on the line. But either way, seconds tick off.
9 seconds into the Rockers go on the man advantage. It'll be 49 seconds of 5-on-4. Parsons has it behind his own net as Roman Gaudette hustles to the near bench. Inger will replace him as the dump attempt bounced into the chest of Scott. That'll be a very long shot on goal and an easy save for Blake Scott.
Yep, Inger comes on as Gaudette goes off, so the top line's out there.
30 seconds to work with. Conway scored the first 2 tonight. Backhands behind the net. Inger sends around the boards. Colton keeps it inside on the far point. Rink wide pass to the half wall. Back up top. Suffredini walks it in. Suffredini throws in close. Tipped in. Hat trick. Declan Conway. 5-2. Motor City on top.
Well, the first one was like his last one, except the stick was a little bit lower. But beautiful, and I just saw a hat go thrown on the ice. But no, it was a great pass, great look. Dante Suffredini crashing in the near side zone. Knew he had Conway just hanging out there. And Port Huron fans or players are throwing hats back into the stands. They're not happy. And even Matt Graham's still talking with the official. But man, 12 seconds left in the power play. You get one back at, that's big.
And again, he caught both very flush on the tip-ins. Started in the first period, we were, a minute or so in when he tipped in the Roman Gaudette shot that time. Catches all of it, puts it right by Tolu. Declan Conway, his 3rd of the game, his 24th of the season. Federley dumps in deep. Port Huron trying to answer quickly. Federley with a quick shot. Denied by Scott. Yeah, Declan Conway's made it look easy. That is some tough hand-eye coordination. That stick blade is not very tall. What, 3-4 inches tall?
About, yeah,
and
3.5.
you have to catch it flush, the 3/4 inch puck. And as fast as it's going, those are two well-earned goals. It wasn't sliding across and he just tapped it in. He knocked both of those out of midair.
Well, it's not just that, it's the wrist control as well. It's the firm grip, but not too firm to where the puck deflects. Everything has to work right. And again, Declan Conway, he's been working on that tip, though. We saw it last night. He tried to tip in a couple.
Makema will go to the box. He'll go to the box 2 for slashing as we go back on the Kustra Law penalty kill. All your legal needs, including Derek Makema's, visit kustralaw.com.
I was going to say, what was it, last night? Conway was tipping about 3 or 4 pucks in front of Taliu. Just couldn't, I mean, Taliu was staying in front of them, but they were really working on that last night too. But tonight, 2 out of 3 tipped in goals for Declan Conway.
Port Huron trying to get one last comeback bid. They have just over 7 minutes to do so. They'll spend the next 2 minutes up a man. Federley behind his own net. Minute 40 left to go in the Makema slashing minor. Pass tipped away. Gaudette chases after it. Ryder sends in deep. Taliu will play it. Dalton Jay into the neutral zone. He'll take it over all 3 lines. Jay puts on the brakes. Feed to Graham, broken up. Left wing circle. Merritt swipes at it to the far corner. Graham along the boards, gives up top. Federley back to the point. Aubin slides to Graham. Federley, top of the right wing circle, throws it into the chest of Blake Scott. Stands tall once again. 1:02 to go in the penalty kill for Motor City. 6:23 to go in the regulation, or I should say in the third period.
Yeah, and again, Blake Scott playing well. You know, again, defense needs to be in front of a goaltender to help him out. But again, anytime he sees the puck and square up to the puck, doing a good job in net. And again, this has been a broken record with Blake Scott for the past 3 weeks. He's just playing well, solidified himself, getting confidence.
Matt Stoya with a howitzer to put it by Scott. Second night in a row he scored on Blake Scott. Port Huron not going away, back-to-back power play goals. And Matt Stoya, absolute rocket to make it 5-3.
Well, 55 seconds left in that penalty kill, and number 55 fires that one through a crowd. Didn't matter if you had x-ray vision, you needed to be a brick wall in front of that one to stop it. But again, I'm surprised it didn't bounce off a Rockers player, surprised it didn't bounce off a Prowlers player. It just found its way through the net. It was a seeing eye single that got through.
So he put a lot behind that on the one-timer. Last night it was the wrist shot from the blue line. This time it's the one-time clapper that beat Scott. Prowlers not going away. Inger throws on the stick of Taliu, gets deflected into the far corner. Schumacher, the far side. At neutral ice, Suffredini dumps in deep. 5:45 to go in the third. Port Huron not going away. I think Port Huron wanted too many men on the ice for Motor City. You heard some clamoring on the bench.
Yeah, they had a case for it.
Turnover at the blue line. Devaney keeps it in. Deflects off of Merritt. Perks to the far side. Works over all 3 lines. Kicks it back to himself. Perks holds it on the near hash marks. Far side Cardinal on the backhand. Pressured by McLean. He'll be forced to neutral ice. McLean gets the turnover. Devaney walks it in. Puts on the brakes. Keeps the dump in. 5 minutes to go in regulation. 5-3 Motor City. Trying to stave off a pesky Port Huron team here on a Saturday night in Big Boy Arena. Miguel Diaz over the blue line. Shot deflected by Parsons. Chipped to neutral ice. Thompson takes down McLean. McLean turtles. Thompson wasn't asking anymore. He was telling. And they're going to have to sort it out. Thompson's going for something. McLean threw a little bit of a slash at Thompson near the end. See if he got away with it, but Thompson going away for some time. I think McLean might too.
Well, it's WrestleMania weekend, Brady. We got some fireworks here in Fraser. Of course, WrestleMania being in LA, but my goodness. You were on that the whole way. I was still watching the play, but yeah, those two went at it. Oh my God, you were right. He just went right from the bench to get McLean on a clean line change. But
yeah, Elias Thompson was not going to leave this game without a pound of flesh.
No.
Now they both go to the box, and McLean didn't want any of it till there was a linesman between them, and he threw his stick at him.
Yeah, just pulled a Claude Lemieux, right?
He turtled pretty quick. So we'll sort out if there's going to be anything. It looks like it might be 5-on-5.
It has to be 5-on-5.
That last little slash might have cost Port Huron the power play.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what it. If not, him throwing Elias Thompson's stick down the ice should at least be something. But
let's see what they come out with. 2 goes up for Thompson.
Well,
is anything going up for McLean?
Yep.
Yes, it is. The only question is it going to be 5-on-5 or 4-on-4? If I'm Motor City, I might prefer 5-on-5, just clog it up a bit. I believe they'll both be unsportsmanlike penalties. I think you really had your pick of the litter, as it will be our final media timeout. 4:38 to go in the third period, 5-3. And Ben, as they sort all that out, let's take one last look around the Fed and one last update on shots on goal and regulation.
Well, shots on goal in the period tied up 9 apiece. Motor City still has a 2-shot advantage in the game, 35-33. Seeing if they actually have this written down in our chart yet. So unsportsmanlike conduct for Torrey McLean and Elias Thompson. That's going to be the call. But going around the league, still 3-3. Mississippi and Carolina tied up. Danbury and Elmira tied at 2. Binghamton has a 4-2 lead over Columbus. River Dragons trying to come back into that one. Delaware Watertown still tied at 0 and supposed to have we were supposed to have a 50-50 drawing, but I think they did it a media timeout early. Because tonight, the winner of the 50-50 drawing, the way this normally works in Autism Acceptance Night, is they win it and then they donate it back to Freddie to help him with his cause. And so, but I think we've already had those numbers.
Let's see. It looks like we may get 4-on-4 hockey.
That's what. Yep.
Does favor Port Huron a bit. You're trying to come back. You want more open ice. You want more offensive opportunities. Going to have to take some chances. 4 minutes, 38 seconds to erase a 2-goal deficit.
On a night like tonight, you missed Taylor Cutting. A little bit.
Elias Thompson again. He was not going to be denied.
No.
And he was bound and determined to get his hands on McLean whether he wanted it or not. Backhand out in front. And Schumacher getting into it in close. I believe that's Milam. Port Huron controlling the offensive zone draw. Johnson. Rink-wide pass gets through as a changeup goes into the belly of Scott. 1:40 left to go in the 4-on-4. 4:18 left to go in the third period.
Yeah, that was a knuckle puck.
Took a long time to get from the blue line to Blake Scott.
Yeah, almost had a 12-6 drop, curveball drop. You know
Scott saw it all the way.
He did.
Off the draw, Merritt from his knees gives back. Schumacher can't settle it down. He has to chase to the corner. Sends to the far side, Milam on the hash marks. Banks it back behind Scott. Up the near side, Miguel Diaz. It's chipped up into the visor of Johnson. Not sure if it got underneath it or not, but he's going to have some whiplash after that one.
Got to appreciate Scott Koash looking at him and be like, hey, man, are you okay? But another hand goes up. Motor City's going to send a man to the box.
What's the penalty going to be for? We are going to get an interference. Let's see who they send. It looks like Milam
No.
So it's 1:12 left to go in the 4-on-4. 2 minutes goes up for Milam, and this third period does not want to end.
No, still got to dig deep. Again, we were talking about calling cards a little bit earlier. One of the unfortunate calling cards for Motor City, they take bad penalties late in games to allow the opposing team to get back into this
better
one.
at it.
They've gotten better at. Well, that's what I was just saying. They've gotten better at it.
Right.
But tonight,
let me ask you this, Ben. If you're Port Huron, I believe they're taking a timeout. Do you just pull Talu? I know there's 3:49 left, but it would give you a 5-on-3. You're down 2 goals, not much to lose. Do you consider keeping your goaltender on the bench?
I would. If this game means as much as we say it is in standings and everything, you need 3 points. And this is the time to take an opportunity and a risk. A lot of people are going to say, well, no, you're not going to do that. Well, guess what? Yes, you can. You need to get back into this game. You're down 2 goals. Now would be the time to put Talu on the bench, get an extra attacker, pull within 1. But, we'll see. We'll see. I know talking with Will Wiggleman, the play-by-play guy of the Prowlers before the game, he even joked. Matt Graham said if there was a situation where it was tied with about a minute left, he would pull Talu. And I said, was he kidding or was he serious? He goes, I think he was serious. So
3:49 left to go in the third period. 5-3 Motor City on top. Again, what this means going the rest of the way the last couple of weekends. Motor City right now leads Port Huron by 8 points. A win in regulation tonight would give Motor City an 11-point lead with 12 possible points left for Port Huron. Depending on the result over in Carolina between Mississippi and Carolina, which Carolina is now taking a 5-3 lead. Looks like the Thunderbirds will survive. All but's about dashes Motor City's hopes to get up to the 2 seed. But if they can hold off Port Huron, it would almost guarantee them locking in the 3 spot. Talu out of the net, 5-on-3 hockey. Federley, right wing circle. Back up top to Johnson, left side Stoya. He already has 1, he has 2. Matt Stoya, 3 goals on the weekend. And we got ourselves a game. Port Huron not going away. Matt Stoya showing off the hands. And just 11 seconds into the Jamie Milam penalty and the Kustralaw penalty kill, Port Huron brings it within 1.
Well, 2 straight power play goals by number 55. Now puts him at 3 for 6 on the night. I'm sorry, I was working with the off-ice officials. Was Talu on the bench?
Talu was on the bench. They pulled it, and it worked off like a charm.
Okay.
Thompson tried to come off. It's going to be Milam. It was his penalty that comes off the board. Back to 4-on-4 hockey. And you could not have drawn it up any better. It was a daring move, but as suspected, Matt Graham uses his timeout wisely. And again, the final 3:35 feels like it can't go off the clock soon enough. Night ago, it was a 3-1 lead erased by Port Huron in McMorran. Saturday night, can Motor City stave off the hungry Prowlers? Johnson, deep in the zone. Schumacher, it's bumped off the puck. Johnson sends it high and wide. The Port Huron Prowler faithful that made their way down, getting loud as Makema has a step on Schumacher and a arm goes up. It'll be a delayed penalty on Port Huron. I don't believe we'll get a penalty shot. Colton very wisely waits behind his own net. Every second that comes off the clock helps Motor City. 2-on-1, right side, shot into the glove of Talu. And some extracurriculars. Gaudette goes down. Graham goes down with him on the far side. So at least Schumacher will go to the box too, I believe, for slashing. We'll see if there's anything else. Shocker, Tori McLean's talking. When it was time to put up, he went into a shell.
And that's, I think, what Koash is reminding him. You've talked all game and you haven't done anything.
He's had many opportunities to dance. He's denied it every time. Get one more look at the Graham-Gaudette collision. 2 minutes on the clock for the Digital Macomb Indoor Billboards Power Play to reach over 100,000 people in just 30 days. Find out how on digitalindoor.com. 2:35 in the third period. 2 minutes on the clock as Schumacher goes to the penalty box and will get a timeout from Motor City.
Yeah, now's the time to take the timeout. I like this timeout by Gordy Brown. It allows the guys to settle down and not – and here's the best part. It's 2:35, right? So I'm going to ask you this. What would you rather have? Because it's an honest question. What would you rather have? A power play goal or kill 2 minutes and leave Port Huron with 35 seconds to try to tie the game?
Yeah, you can be very patient. You know Port Huron is going to try to spring a shorthanded goal. Dalton Jay is usually good for those, knowing how to leak out at the right time. They're going to take some calculated risk. But if you get that goal, you can go for the kill shot. That's what Gordy Brown's talking about right now.
And that's why I'm at it, because, again, getting a goal would be big. It extends the lead back to 2 with not a lot of time left. But, again, you have the possession to do it. I'm not saying, you should do it. I'm just, again, posing the philosophical question. Do you just kill the 2 minutes and survive 35 seconds and walk away with a win in regulation? Or, again, do you get a goal, go up 2 with, let's say, a minute 50. We're giving Port Huron some credit here, and, that you can still go in regulation. So
final game of 16 between these two teams in the first year of Motor City. 5-on-4. Koash, clean win. Suffredini takes his time, short feed to the hash marks, returns to Suffredini. Behind the net, Conway, he already has a hat trick. Near hash marks, back up top for Colton. Returning to Conway, again, very patient power play. Prowlers sitting back, waiting for their opportunity to try to spring a offensive rush. 25 seconds into the man advantage for Motor City. Colton to the near side. Koash returns to Colton. Not a lot of pressure near the blue line. Motor City doing what you said, Ben. They will gladly let time run off the clock. Shot misses wide.
Yeah, I'm starting to wonder if that's a shot or just a pass.
Chartrand able to take it away, offensive zone, right into the glove of Scott. Quickly flips it out. Rink wide pass. Inger, offensive zone, right circle, backhand cut off. It's dumped deep, but that doesn't hurt Motor City too much. 90 seconds left to go in the game. 53 seconds to go in the Schumacher penalty.
Oh yeah, Motor City's just happy killing the clock. I think that's exactly what they were talking about, finding ways to just kill this time and leave Port Huron with 35 seconds left.
Yeah, they haven't
taken a shot yet.
Rush.
Yeah, they haven't taken a shot yet. It was a hard pass that went wide.
Aubin with a chance to get out in transition. Final minute of the game, 26 seconds left. That Port Huron will be shorthanded. Talu has no interest of going to the bench.
Not yet.
Shorthanded. Port Huron trying to tie it up. Out in front, Parsons backhands, and it's swallowed up by Blake Scott. His offensive zone draw, Ben, you think Talu has to come out. You have to take the calculated risk.
Talu had to come out, and that was the time to do it. And I don't know why. He's talking to the bench.
And now he will.
Yeah.
I think that's the right move if you're Port Huron.
Well, it was the right move about 15 seconds ago, but now it's a good move. It's a smart, calculated move. Speaking of smart, calculating moves, great move by Blake Scott, squaring up, eating up that puck, keeping it at 5-4. Blake Scott making a nice save. Let's
just get this final 47.7 off the board. Get out of here with 3 points. Prowlers have been pesky this third period. Feel like it's taken a lifetime to get through the final frame. Prowlers control it. 8 seconds till it's 6-on-5 hockey. 40 seconds in the game. Near side. Out in front, Federle couldn't get all of it. Slides right. 6-on-5. Conway racing after it. Schumacher chips in deep. Final 30 seconds.
Good
The
clear.
ice attempt was tipped by
Yep.
Stoya. They'll have to hurry for the rush. 20 seconds left. Stoya hit it, and he gets called for the high stick. So not only is it going down to the Prowlers' end, Talu will likely, Talu will go back into the crease.
Well, now he's forced. So that's why it's huge. I mean, at this point, he's forced to
He's going
come
to have
back.
to score 5-on-5.
Yeah,
Even on a clean win, if he hustles,
yeah.
you might get about 12 seconds in a perfect world. Off the draw, Prowlers, clean win. Flip it to center ice. Jay sends to Federley. Talu on the bench. Federley in deep, 10 seconds to go. Gets sent to the corner, chasing after it. Down to 6 seconds. Along the boards, pushing and shoving, it won't go out. 2 seconds to 1. Let's get out of here. Rockers win 5-4. They survive their final matchup with Port Huron. They take all 3 points, and they take the I-94 rivalry, the season series, 9-7 in favor of the Rockers. Oh boy, it wasn't easy, Ben.
No, it was nerve-wracking. Everyone at home, everyone here at BBA was on the edge of their seats. But you know who wasn't on the edge of his seat? Gordy Brown. He knows he can win games 1-0 or with a 1-goal lead. That's exactly what he was doing. He trusts his defense. He trusts his players. He trusts the system. And what did we see for the last 35 seconds? All of that come to fruition when it mattered. And wear that I-94 sign with pride, because this was a big win. And again, believing in the system, knowing you can win. Everyone else at the edge of their seat was nervous, biting fingernails, but not Motor City, not Gordy Brown. He knew the guys could do it, and they did. Big statement there in the last 35.6.
Rockers have been finishing out games strong. It's the cliche or the phrase I've used for basically the last month. The killer instinct of these Rockers have been phenomenal. They close out another game as they parade. I don't know, is that an actual I-94 sign from the highway?
I think
it looks like it is.
I think it is. I love how, though, they're treating it like the Stanley Cup. They're passing it along player to player, doing a little bit of laps. The first goal, though, of the season is done. You beat your rival. You have 9 games to 7 in the season series. 1 check mark off the list is done. You're not going to get the other one. That's the division. That's out of reach. There's only 1 check mark left, Brady, and that's the Commissioner's Cup.
Getting ready for the playoffs. It was not easy. Wasn't pretty at times in the third period, but Motor City survives. Ben, why don't you wrap it up? Give us the 3 stars of the game and anything else we might need to know before we send it home.
Yeah, well, 3 stars of the game. Third star has to go to a man who wears number 55, Matt Stoya. Had 2 power play goals, had an assist, had a big game. Those were big goals as well. So Matt Stoya is your 3rd star of the game. Scott Koash, your 2nd star of the game with 3 assists. And the top star of the game, the man who had 4 points tonight, had a hat trick, got the goal scoring, started early for Motor City. Declan Conway, number 44, your top star of the night.
And for Koash, that makes it 16 points in his last 6 games. That has been very, very strong for Motor City. They take it 5-4 over Port Huron. They take the season series 9-7. 4 games left for Motor City. They will take 2 down in Biloxi. They'll go down to Biloxi for 2 next Friday and Saturday. And then the 14th and 15th, they'll be back here for the final home series and Fan Appreciation Day here at Big Boy Arena. Ben, any final thoughts on this win?
Again, another playoff-style win, man. We saw one in Carolina. We saw one here last Friday, and we just saw one tonight. And we saw one last night, too. You know, again, this team is rounding into form very nicely. Again, no one was sitting at the edge of their seat on the Rockers bench. They knew that this game was in their hands. And guess what? When you're playing with this type of confidence, you're a scary team to face. And right now, everyone has Motor City circled and on notice because the second season is coming up in 2 weeks. And Motor City's playing as confident as any team in the league, and they're going to be a tough out.
No one playing better hockey right now than Motor City. Again, they'll be in Biloxi for 2 against the Seawolves. Follow them on the Mississippi Seawolves YouTube page, and then back here for the final 2 against Biloxi in 2 weeks' time. Thank you so much for spending your Saturday night with me again. Motor City, the 5-4 win over Port Huron. They take the season series. For my partner, Ben Zalagi, I've been Brady Beaton. Thank you, and have a great weekend.